Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. If you're here in chat, drop a hello. So yeah, this is the deck that we're gonna play today. I mean, I don't really like to play Chaos Turbo a lot, but this build by Ghostrider is pretty cool. I talked about it in my last video, the Goat format meta update. So yeah, this is what we are going to go with, and and if people want, I can switch to something else. All right. Okay. All right. Hopefully we'll be good here. So yeah, if you're here in chat, go ahead and just drop a hello so I know the stream is working. I mean, if you guys want, I can talk a little about Genesis format, but I actually kind of don't want to, only because I was going to save it for like a separate video, so I don't want to like sort of spoil all my thoughts here. But that definitely is something that's worth talking about, right? Hopefully we still have people playing Goat format. Hopefully they didn't all leave to play Edison. And yeah, we'll see how this deck does. I mean, I like the fact that it's got Wing Blast in it. I mean, triple Wing Blast is one of my favorites. A lot of decks I feel like in Goat format have become a little uniform, in the sense that, like, I just feel like a lot of decks are just playing, like, double Upstart, triple Jar, which leaves, like, a lot less room for tech, and makes, I don't know, it makes Goat format less, it kind of means it has, like, less surprises, is probably the best word to use, like less variety, almost. Because, like, you used to have all these slots that were, like, dedicated to cool tech that are now just, like, a bunch of upstarts and jars. Yeah, we're just gonna let this go through. I mean, I actually hate this place so much. I hate going, like, Faith, get back upstart. It just feels so bad. But in this case, I didn't think we really had a better choice. Alright, I'm gonna end phase Jar. And then I'm gonna Wing Blast the I'm not even sure what I'm gonna Wing Blast. I guess let's Wing Blast the back row. Oh, whoops. Yeah, Night Assailant is mandatory. I have to use it. So this is a really nice start for us, actually. Let me just make sure real quick that the stream is actually up. Okay, it is. Okay, so this just looks like an Earth deck. I'm gonna be honest. This just looks like an Earth deck. And as long as our opponent, like, doesn't have, like, a Tribe or a Lightning Vortex, we're in good shape. And yeah, thank you for reminding me on the Night Assailant trigger. I realized it myself. Oh, and hold on. I realized the chat is not showing in the stream. Give me a sec. Let me edit that. Okay, there we go. Alright, so what did he discard? A Rhoda and a Blade Rabbit. Okay, I don't think our opponent's really playing like a real deck here. I hate to say it, but... Here we have an interesting decision because we can Tsukiyomi our spy, or we can Tsukiyomi one of our opponent's monsters and cross it out. But I don't think the latter really accomplishes anything. So I think I'm just gonna Tsukiyomi the spy. I mean, we could just flip it up right now and get the third spy, but that's another thing that I think like just kind of doesn't accomplish much. So yeah, in this kind of matchup, we're just really as long as we don't really take like a bunch of damage out of nowhere, we're gonna win. That's all we have to do. As long as we just keep staying at 8,000, you know, there's like no way that we're gonna lose. He could even turn the assailant to defense. I mean, our opponent doesn't know our deck. Maybe we're playing like Ninja Grandmaster. Oh, good evening. Oh, Vincent D. I feel like you went to the Game Academy. I even feel like, did you like work at the Game Academy for a brief moment? Your name sounds familiar. Maybe I'm just hallucinating here. But I feel like you used to work at the Game Academy and like you went there a lot. But I could be totally wrong. I could just be way, way off. All right, well, cool to hear from you again. And I think we just want to set Mask here, get back Wing Blast. I mean, if we want to, when our opponent attacks, we could book the attacker, flip up Mask, get back Wing Blast, Tsukiyomi our Mask, and then just, like, start Wing Blasting all of the things. Yeah, man, I'm definitely still crushing it. I mean, I know my audience doesn't care, but in a month, I'm going to be playing in Marvel Snap Worlds. Maybe I shouldn't book. If I book the Assailant and he just, like, goes main phase 2 cross out, it would feel so bad. So I think I won't use my book. Oh, we even have Sinister now. I don't know. I could, like, Wing Blast the monster, like, in draw phase, just in case it's, like, Faith. But I find it hard to believe that he has room for, like, Giant Rat, Blade Knight, DD Assailant, and Magician of Faith. Okay, I mean, I guess he just has Solemn here, right? That sucks. That actually kind of sucks a lot. All right, I'll just let this resolve. Like, he can't... all of his back rows are full. And we have Book of Moon. Like, keep in mind, we can just book the... Like, we can set our whole hand, like, book the morphing, and then just absolutely go to town on this guy. So, yeah, I mean, on the surface, this morphing doesn't look great for us. And to be honest, it's not great. I mean, one of these 5 cards could be something really good. But given that our opponent has locked himself out... Yeah, I don't feel too bad about this. Oh yeah, and his stumbling turns his tribe to defense or whatever. Yeah, we're just gonna let him do this. We're just gonna let him do this. Hi Rob. I'm doing well. For those who don't know, I'm in my new house now. Yeah, and then we're just gonna let this go through. We're gonna go flip Faith, get back Heavy Storm, and then we're gonna take the 17. You know, it's fine. It's the first damage we've taken. Thanks, Rob. So yeah, we're just gonna go Sinister to hands. Wing Blast, I don't know, Assailant, I guess. Discard Sinister. Wing Blast resolves, still standby. We add Sinister to our hand. And then we go main phase. And then we just go activate Heavy Storm. And okay, we bait out a Solemn, that's fine. He was 45-50. I kind of wish I had something I could attack with. Like a breaker would be really nice, but we don't have that. Because my plan was I wanted to like book the morphing and attack into it or something. But I think there's going to be a change of plans. I think we're not going to do that. I think we're just going to go pot. Okay. I don't know. And at a certain point, the other problem with booking morphing is that at a certain point, it does become a concern that we can just deck out. Like, oh, and we actually, if we summon Sangan, it just goes to defense. So we actually can't, we can't attack this morphing this turn. So, yeah, I think our plan is we just want to go banish, banish, and then get rid of tribe. I mean, he could Solemn it. Okay, he's gonna ring it. I guess I'll just book my guy, right? Let me actually see how stumbling works. Is that like is it a trigger or continuous? It says it's continuous. Oh no, trigger like. Okay, fair enough. So I can't yeah, we can't get rid of this guy. Alright, this is fun. And no, Rob, I don't play Goat IRL. I mean, I live in a country with no Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so no, I don't play Goat IRL. What do you mean, what country has no Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Probably like 90% of the planet doesn't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, it's easier to name a country that doesn't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards than it is to name a country that does have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I wish people wouldn't do that. Like, he puts it in his hand and then puts it on top of his deck. Alright, main phase 1. This is actually like a pretty cool game state because we wing blasted 2 cards to the top of our opponent's deck. And Eddie's just not going to draw them for a while. Which, again, it's kind of cool. But yeah, at a certain point, like, I am actually concerned that we could just deck out. Yeah, we've used all 3 Wing Blasts. We have 1 more Time Seal left. I mean, Time Seal is definitely underrated. Yeah, we're at the point where, like, our Sangat almost has no targets. Like, this is real life, folks. I mean, I guess this set is, like, probably another giant rat, right? I mean, if this is a giant rat, then... Or if it's an assailant, that's fine, too. Okay. So we take 3. Duo would kind of suck, but, like, our opponent can't draw cards, so I don't think he's gonna, like, have Duo for a while. It has nothing to do with being a third world country. Like, I just live in a country that doesn't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, it's not Coca-Cola. Like, it's... Again, most countries in the world don't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Then what... I don't know. It's like, what kind of country doesn't have, I don't know, some other American media? Again, even, here's the thing, guys. I went to Japan a year ago, and even in Japan, I could not find Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, they have them. Obviously, Japan has Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We all know that. But, like, I think people kind of mentally assume that Japan has a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh than it actually has. Like, most people in Japan don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh is. I know you find that hard to believe. Like, how could they not know what Yu-Gi-Oh is? I know Yu-Gi-Oh's not... Oh my god. It's like saying that, like, that PlayStation isn't American. Like, yes, PlayStation is technically from Sony, and Sony is technically a Japanese company, but most people in Japan don't have a PlayStation. Like, something... Because realize nothing is really American, right? Like, what America is all about is just taking things from other countries and making them better and or more popular. Even when people ask me, like, you know, here they're like, oh, what's American food? I'm like, I don't know what American food is. Like, American food is pizza, which we got from Italy, and hamburgers, which we got from Germany. Like, yes, none of it is technically our stuff, but, like, we're the ones that kind of made it better, you know? Like... Man, no BLS. Oh, but we have Ring. I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say nothing is really American. And for some reason, people just want to pretend like they don't know what I'm talking about. Again, this is not about like shitting on America, right? That's not what this is about. This isn't like a America bad rant. This is a most things that you think like the whole world has are like more American than you probably think. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is more popular in America than it is in any other country. Now in Japan, I saw Pokemon everywhere. Like Pokemon, I think you could even argue is more popular in Japan than it is in America. And it's obviously already like even super popular in America, right? Everyone in America has heard of Pokemon. But in Japan, it was like literally everywhere. You could like not walk down a street without seeing Pokemon. So again, it's like countries just have different tastes. And at the end of the day, it's like companies are gonna sell their product where people want their product. I'm telling you, like, it's not. And even, like, if you read Konami's earnings statements, they do talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! But they never talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! In Japan. Like, you never see in an investor presentation, hey, this set sold really well in Japan. They never talk about that. All right, well, we somehow managed to win that one. But yeah, it's like even in Thailand, for example, Thailand technically has Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but they literally have like one card shop in Bangkok. And that's it. Like that's the only Yu-Gi-Oh they have in the whole country is like one card shop in Bangkok. Which, like again, most people probably wouldn't expect that. I don't even know how do we side? I mean, I definitely think we want Dust Tornadoes. Right? We definitely want Dust Tornadoes. Maybe even like Torrential. It's actually so weird that he's playing DD Assailant. Like, why does our opponent's deck want to be playing DD Assailant? That just seems like such a bizarre choice to me. I'm not really, like, super in love with Spy. Like, it kind of did something in that game for a while. But, like, our opponent just plays, like, Dream Clowns and Blade Rabbits to just kind of just kill them. But then again, a Spy can also, like, attack over a Blade Rabbit. I don't know. I could see, like, maybe cutting one Spy. I don't think it's, like, so good that we just want, like, 1,000 Spies. I don't think we want, like, all the Spies. I don't know. Maybe something like this. Maybe just, like, 2 Dust Tornadoes for a book and a Spy. Oh, we also obviously MST. I almost forgot like MST is a thing. I don't know. We'll try something like this. Where is here? Like, I'm guessing. So, Rob, I'm guessing you're not American because you said here. So I'm guessing you're like in Latin America. That's my read. And Yu-Gi-Oh is, generally speaking, like more popular in Latin America than it is in like most other parts of the world. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty popular in like Southern Europe and like Latin America and also like North America. Yeah. Like, even in Northern Europe, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not much of a thing. Like, there's no one playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In, like, Norway, right? When I say no one, again, I'm sure, like, Norway has, like, their one card shop that sells Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. But, like, it's not... it's not, like, some super popular, like, thing over Yu-Gi-Oh is mostly a thing in like North America, Latin America, and Southern Europe. Yeah, you're right. It's Yu-Gi-Oh is definitely popular in Italy. That's why I said southern. That's why I said Southern Europe. Right? I was careful to say Southern Europe. Even in Greece, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is quite popular in Greece. It's and I don't know why. Like, why is it regional? Why is it that Yu-Gi-Oh is really popular in Southern Europe but not Northern Europe? I have no idea. I could not tell you the reason for that. I'm just gonna say go. And even like in Western Europe, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is fairly popular. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is a thing in the UK, it's a thing in France, it's a thing in Spain, it's a thing in Germany. And yet, like, you know, no one seems to be playing like Yu-Gi-Oh in you know, Poland or Norway. Why? I don't know, but I'm just telling you how it is. No one's playing Yu-Gi-Oh like in Ukraine. They apparently have other things to worry about. I don't know. I mean, maybe it has something to do with like the art style. I really don't know. I actually think it was correct to not add Sinister there, since we're just going to discard it in the end phase anyways. Not adding Sinister would better play around Dust Shoot. So if you're talking about Genesis specifically, if you're talking about Genesis, I don't really want to like get into that too much because I'm just gonna like make a video on it probably within the next few days. And I mean, I'm sort of like a known Konami like critic / pessimist. I do not think Genesis is a good format. And I do not think it will be a good format. It could be a good format, right? But realize most formats that people try to make, whether it's like a player that makes a format or it's Konami that makes a format, most of them just statistically do not succeed. So, like, if you're telling me, hey, there's a new Yu-Gi-Oh format, and you tell me absolutely nothing about it, the safe prediction would be that, well, it will probably fail, right? That's just kind of like the safe thing to assume. Now, does that mean it will fail? Perfect Circle. I mean, Perfect Circle format is okay. I don't like the only past formats that people play are like Goat and Edison, and I think that's for a reason. Probably number 3 is like Tengu format, which I think is also a decent format. Often the problem with like people rotating formats or whatever is they just get tired of one format, so then they like stop playing and then try a different one. Which, I mean, is that the worst thing in the world? I don't know. I guess not. But the thing is that any format, whether it's like a past format or it's like a new format that's Konami is creating, it has to like solve some problem. It has to have some value proposition. And it can't just be like, well, we feel like playing a different format. There has to be more to it than that. We'll hit this one. Hit the jar. Sucks to be me. every single card in our deck is chainable, so we're just gonna Wind Blast the Breaker. I mean, the thing is, so if you're saying Perfect Circle is lower powered than GOAT, I think you are absolutely insane. You are like a literal lunatic, because it's like not even close which is more powerful. I mean, we're talking about like a deck where Disc Commander is a thing, and like full power Diamond Dude Turbo is also a thing, like, which is fine. If you want to play that format, fine. I'm not going to tell anyone like don't play the format. It's, again, I think what often happens is there's this kind of honeymoon phase with any format. The format's always good when people haven't solved it. Thank you, chatter. Sorry, I'm distracted because I'm trying to talk with the chat and talk with my opponent at the same time. So we have light and a dark. That's not really a concern of ours. I could just discard Jaragreed, right? I might just discard Jaragreed if I'm being totally honest. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the preference with the format is with regards to, like, what power level you want to play at. You know, generally, like, the further you go in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, the more powerful the formats get. Now, it's not, like, linear. It's not like it just goes straight up. It's more like it kind of goes up, dips down a little, and then kind of dips, you know, it sort of goes, like... It's sort of, you know, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And then over the years, like, the long-term trend is that formats have been getting more powerful. And, again, you know, it's definitely true in, like, Perfect Circle format. Like, I would even argue that in Perfect Circle format, I mean, it depends on which month you're playing in. Like, if you're playing, like, October Perfect Circle format, the format is very different than playing, like, January Perfect Circle format. You know, January 2008. So, yeah, I'm not sure which one people play. But anyways, going like Time Seal into Duo is pretty sick. What? 6 out of 10 games? Are you out of your mind? Maybe if you're playing like the worst Perfect Circle player on Earth, sure. And like Perfect Circle is probably not even like the best deck in Perfect Circle format. I think if you're playing January Perfect Circle format, the best deck is DDT, and it's not even close. But this is what happens in every format. People just want to pretend that like the combo decks don't exist, so therefore the format is good. I don't know why. Every single format, without fail, you know, there's like a full year straight where Gishki FTK was one of, if not the best deck. And then when people go back and play that format, they don't play Gishki. And even in like hat format, the best deck is Infernity, and it's not close. And then people just try to pretend that Infernity doesn't exist. DDT dies to a single DD Crow? Are you out of your mind? DD Crow isn't even good against DDT. Like, it's okay. It's not the worst card, but it stops like 2 cards in their deck. It stops like their 1 copy of Magical Stone Excavation, and that's it. Like, why? Like, of all things, like, again, this just, like, people never know the formats that they're talking about. It's like when people say that, oh, Gishki, like, isn't, you know, tier 1 in its formats because you could just play Effect Veiler. It's like people just always name, like, the 10th best counter as why a deck isn't good. And it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, if I'm being honest. This is GOAT format. What people are asking me about other formats, they can ask me whatever they want, you know? Alright, so we could, you know, we could potentially go for game, but I don't see the need to. I'm just going to do this play instead. I'm just going to just take this Dream Clown and just kill the Breaker and then just start attacking with Spies. Alright, he did have Mirror Force, so this is good. This is actually really good. We baited the Mirror Force. And we even didn't normal summon yet. Oh, and apparently we just also get to play Pot of Greed. Yeah, we're at 7,000 and we're up like 20 cards. So I'm feeling pretty confident. Alright, I have to assume that Fire Mango is trolling here. Because I literally played Gishki FTK in TCG for several months straight and topped the YCS. And yeah, I can talk about whatever the hell I want. And I don't know, with this Faith, what are we getting back? Probably just getting back Heavy Storm, right? Why would he not attack? Alright, this guy is just dead as hell. So if we Wing Blast the Kaiku... Yeah, we just go, Wing Blast Kaiku. Oh, wait. Okay, we can Wing Blast the Kaiku, and then flip Faith, get back Heavy Storm, turn Dream Clown to attack mode, activate Heavy Storm, and then attack for game. Right? I'm pretty sure this works. So let me just do the math. Yeah. He's super dead. There's Fire Mango. I literally pioneered the deck in TCG. I topped a YCS in TCG with Gishki FTK, with multiple Mind Augusts. Like, again, it's like people just want to just live in a different reality than me, apparently. Just Google Alan Pennington Gishki. It's like the first thing that comes up. Again, I want to give you credit and say you have to be trolling, but I feel like 9 times out of 10 my chat isn't trolling, and they just don't know what they're talking about. Again, this was like a massive controversy. People have made videos about it, right? Like, Gishki FTK was at full power for almost like a year. You know, more than 6 months. There was basically like an 8-month period of time where Gishki was not only legal, but like, again, I would argue that during the time that I played Gishki, during the time that I topped, I would actually argue that Gishki was the best deck. I know that's like kind of a hot take. Some people, no, it's not. It's a gimmick, whatever. I think it was the best deck only because the most popular deck was the Atlantean Mermail deck or whatever, and Gishki had such a great matchup against that particular deck that I think it's very hard to argue that Gishki wasn't the best deck. Right? It was like a, I don't know, you know, a 70-30 or maybe even like an 80-20 matchup. It was an extremely good matchup, right? Every round I was just hoping, please give me a Mermail deck. Please give me a Mermail deck. And then the format before that, that's outside of any officially recognized format. Okay, all right, this guy is, I don't know, I want whatever. It's not playable. It's literally playable in both those formats. Again, REDU, you're talking about like wind-up format. Again, I think you could argue that wind-ups are a better combo deck than Gishki. If that's your opinion, fine. But you had double Mind August and 3 One Day of Peace. No, here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, these people aren't trolling. That's like, again, that's what's sad, is 9 times out of 10, these people aren't trolling. Like, I mean, this is going to sound like a narcissistic take, perhaps, but I have a better memory than most people. There's a lot of people who just, like, I basically have a photographic memory when it comes to anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I could tell you card for card, like, what deck lists I was playing, like, 15 years ago. Most people can't do that because their memory isn't that good. So here's, like, actually, this is actually GOAT format related. Here's, like, kind of an interesting, like, I don't know, lore part of GOAT format. Is when we were sort of first getting GOAT format together, most people did not think you could discard Thunder Dragon and fail to find. They didn't know that. And in fact, there were even a lot of top players who specifically remembered that you couldn't do that. Like Chris Perovic asked Max Suffrage
if you were allowed to discard Thunder Dragon and fail to find, and max suffrage was like, no, you weren't. The only way I was able to prove that you could, because I knew that you could discard Thunder Dragon and fail to find, because I was a judge then. Like, it was like such a relevant ruling, and I was a judge then, and people didn't believe me. Like, top GOAT format players, people who actually played in 2005, 2006, they did not believe that you could discard and fail to find. And the only way I was able to prove to them that you could was using the Wayback Machine and looking up the Upper Deck ruling and saying, yes, it says here, it said this in 2005 on Upper Deck's website that you could fail to find. And that was the only way that people would believe me. And not only did I know that you could fail to find in GOAT format, I knew the exact month that they changed the rule in TCG. Or maybe not the exact month, but I know roughly the period of time. So the rule was changed in 2008 in GLAD format. That was when they changed the rule that you could no longer fail to find. It was towards the end of like summer of 2008. So like right before Teledad format. So around like 1 or 2 months before Teledad format, that was when they changed the rule. So you cannot fail to find in Teledad format. Like if you have a reinforcement of the army with no legal target, you can't reinforcement of the army in Teledad format, right? With no legal target. So again, most people, I just have a better memory than most people when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was such like a big part of my life then, right? It's like how, like, if you ask other people, like if you ask your friends, like, hey, do you remember my kid's birthday? Your friend isn't going to remember your kid's birthday, but you are going to remember your kid's birthday because it's your kid. And like, it's such a big part of your life. And I know that like, that might seem like such like a cringe analogy, but for me, like that kind of is the thing where like, it's other people telling you like, no, your kid wasn't born on that day. And I'm like, motherfucker, I was there on his birthday. I was there in the hospital. I know when my kid's birthday is, right? Like that's, to me, like that's what it feels like, the argument that I'm having with people. Where like I'm arguing with people about my kid's birthday. I'm like, no, I was there. I know exactly what happened. I know when it happened. Because again, like in that time period from like 2000, I don't know, from like 2007 to like 2012, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my life. And anything in that time period, if you ask me about, I can tell you like card for card what deck lists I was playing. I can tell you like almost card for card what decks like won YCSs then. I can tell you exactly what all the rulings were, because keep in mind, like in 2011, 2012, I was like the head judge of Florida, right? I was head judging like all the regionals in that time period. So if you ask me like a ruling from that time period, 99% chance I have the right ruling. So as far as why they changed the rule, I don't think it had anything to do with power level. I think they just changed the rule because like it's not a very intuitive rule to people. Now I know Magic the Gathering has failed to find and has always had failed to find, right? In Magic, you can just cast a Rampant Growth and not find a land. But even for Magic players, for like new Magic players, I think that's not intuitive. That like if they play a card that says, oh, find a land or find a creature, whatever, you don't have to do it, even if there is a legal target. So in Magic, if you have a card that searches for something and you have like something that you can get, you can just decide not to get it. And that is a very like unintuitive ruling for new Magic players. And that's also why they changed damage on the stack in Magic, right? Like any sort of competitive Magic player will say like damage on the stack allowed for sort of like deeper strategy. It allowed for more technical gameplay, but it was also extremely unintuitive to newer players. So that's why they changed it. And I think that's kind of like a part of game design that a lot of people miss. It's that like it's not all about like what is more strategic or what's more fun. It's also about like what is more intuitive, what is easier for like new players to understand. That is a very key part of game design. Even like Yu-Gi-Oh! Changing, you know, priority, I actually like, again, this is a hot take that maybe most of my chat will disagree with. I actually think that Konami made the right call by changing the priority rule. And I also know when that happened. When did they change the priority rule? They changed it in 2012. They changed it in, I don't know, I want to say around April 2012. That was when they changed the priority ruling. But yeah, I actually do think they made the right call on that. Because it's one of those things that's not intuitive for newer players. And even to this day, like on my priority video, that, you know, my video that explains priority on my channel, I'll still get comments saying, yeah, I know you just explained this whole thing, but I have no idea what the hell you just said. Which is fine. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, who knows? Maybe I could have done... I could have explained priority better in my video. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's their fault. Maybe it's just a difficult mechanic to understand. I don't know. So the priority ruling was changed in Dino Rabbit format. So again, at the first couple of months of Dino Rabbit format, you're right. But like at Nationals that year, in Nationals 2012, there was no priority. And again, you're right that like that interaction that you're bringing up, that was the most relevant part of the priority change. So at the beginning of that format, you could not Veiler a Rescue Rabbit. But at Nationals that year, you absolutely could Veiler a Rescue Rabbit. And that was huge, right? That's like a big reason that people, that people played Effect Veiler, like after they changed the priority ruling. It was a huge buff to Effect Veiler. As far as like what's my pet deck in GOAT format, my pet deck is probably like Library FTK, if we're being honest, but I don't think you guys want to see that. We're gonna play another match with this. I mean, I kind of just had a long argument with people who forget history. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like again, Yu-Gi-Oh like has absolutely like lost the plot in terms of like trying to make the game even slightly approachable for new players. Like here's the standard that I have. If you're making a TCG and my mom can't understand the rules, your game's too complicated. So, because I actually, back in the day, I played Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic. The only game that my mom could understand how to play was Pokemon. She actually liked Pokemon. She'd sit down with me and play a game of Pokemon with me. Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, though, she had no idea what the hell was going on. And Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like... The fact that, I don't know if this is still the case, I imagine it's probably gotten better. But the fact that multiple times in my history of, like, being a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I had head judges at major events get rulings wrong, tells you the game is way too complicated. Again, I think most people, their take would be, oh, you know, the head judge was an idiot or something. But it's like, no, if the head judge is getting a ruling wrong, it might be that he's an idiot, but like 9 times out of 10, the issue isn't that he's an idiot. You know, the issue is that the game's too complicated. I hope the breaker hits the time seal. Having cross out there is actually really nice because it prevents him from redrawing the breaker, and that's actually huge. don't know. I don't think modern Yu-Gi-Oh is that fun, if I'm being honest. I mean, to me, it's like modern Yu-Gi-Oh is almost a different game than, you know, old Yu-Gi-Oh, which is fine. I mean, having a different game is fine. But this game's not over at all. Alright, so he has another Dikochi. Yeah, I mean, our opponent did, like, kind of have a lot. His opening hand kind of matched up well with ours. One nice thing, though, is we do have light and dark. Oh my god, he's playing Blade Knight? Well, that sucks. Yeah, I mean, he just kind of had, like, perfect cards for everything we did. I assumed, like, it was just a Chaos Turbo Mirror, and he was going to set another Dikochi, and then we'd flip up Night Assailant, kill the second Dikochi. Alright, and he has Kaiku. I mean, yeah, this is just one of those games where literally every single card that we played, he just had the perfect counter. He had the Jar for the heavy, he had Breaker, and he hit the Wing Blast. Then he had Crossout to prevent him from redrawing the Breaker. And then he had, like, Kaiku to, you know, stop our light and dark. And, I mean, it is possible we could still win, but we're, like, maybe, I don't know, 5% to win this game. I also don't know why, when he banished with Kaiku, I think it was a massive mistake to leave this Faith in the grave. Like, that is a massive mistake, because 2 Faiths are already gone. So if you banish the 3rd Faith, it's gonna be pretty hard for me to get, like, a light in my grave unless I draw Thunder Dragon. And I'm Wing Blasting the Blade Knight instead of the Kaiku, just in case he has Tribe here. If he goes Tribe here, he has to kill his own Kaiku. Whereas if we Wing Blast the Kaiku, then he can just kind of Tribe with no downside. Oh, but then I guess he gets to do that. Yeah, I didn't... Maybe I should have thought of that. I don't think there are a lot of decks where we're going to be wanting to side out Time Seal. Because Time Seal just seems pretty, like, universally good against everything. Yeah, I mean, now we're... Yeah, we can't do anything. I mean, I definitely think we want Mirror and Torrential. I mean, I don't really like Bulk a lot. Do we want Zombira? Yeah, maybe. I just take out like the third faith and then side out some spells. It's not clear to me like how many set monsters he plays. Like it doesn't seem like he's playing a lot. Like maybe we want one cross out, but I definitely don't think we want two. I don't know. I mean, I think we want something like this. I mean, I definitely like Mirror and Torrential. I mean, I talked about it in the video that I did. That was partially about this deck. I like to play Mirror and Torrential in my Chaos decks in general, but I feel like this is one of the few builds where you can get away with not having them. I don't know, maybe we want it like this. This is not a great hand, if I'm being totally honest. All monster hands are not fun. Like, especially if he has a cross out for this spy, we're really going to be in trouble. I mean, I think he's just playing like the warrior turbo hybrid. I don't like the deck, to be honest. I think it's overrated, but it is still good. Like, it's definitely not a terrible deck. It could be Return. No, probably not. Like, keep in mind he has like Thunder Dragon, Blade Knight, and like Magician of Faith, and that's usually, it just means it's like the warrior hybrid. Right? I mean, you're right that like it could be Chaos Return. I'm not. It's certainly possible. But it's probably not. It's not the standard build of Return. It is theoretically possible that he could have Morphing Jar, so I'm just going to do all this before I attack. Okay, got Graceful rather than Duo. Alright, now this is weird. I don't even know what he's playing anymore. I'm gonna be honest, I legitimately don't know. He's just playing like a pile of cards. Maybe it was like some sort of transition side where he like sided in 10 cards and changed his deck. That's a possibility. I mean, we sided out like our Book of Moon. But like we still have a bunch of Wing Blast to deal with Thousand Eyes. And one of like the overlooked qualities of Wing Blast is like using a Wing Blast on a Thousand Eyes is a lot better than using Raigeki Break on Thousand Eyes, because you don't put the dark in their grave. Oh, and he drew into the Sinister. Yeah, I will say, like, we definitely got our work cut out for us. Yeah, I mean, when you go like 4 Trinity pieces in the first 2 turns, that can be kind of hard to overcome. I don't know, it's probably just like some sort of mind game. Like I said, I think he probably did some sort of transition side. So here, if we go Wing Blast on Thousand Eyes, discard Night Assailant, the Spy will go to our grave, and then we can get back the Spy with Night Assailant. And then this also has the advantage of not letting him, like, summon another monster. Because if we Wing Blast the Thousand Eyes in main phase, then he could just summon another monster and, like, attack over one of our guys. Or he could even have another meta. So kind of like a cool play there. It's kind of a cool play. Best deck for a novice goat player to enter a local tourney. I mean, I want to say Burn. What do you guys think about Burn? Like some sort of Burn. Don't get me wrong, there's like a lot of ways that you could build Burn wrong and maybe like get punished for it. But I kind of want to say Burn. Alright, I don't think this card is Jar Greed, but I could be wrong. It might be something else chainable, like it might be a ring. Yeah. But I knew it wasn't Jar Greed, so that was why I went for that play. Warriors are a lot harder to play than people think. Like, he asked as a novice GOAT format player. Cat OTK, I think, would also work. Cat OTK is not that hard to play. Earth Aggro is simple, but, like, I think Earth Aggro is just not a very good deck, if I'm being honest. Alright, so he's gonna have 5 Trinity pieces. I mean, we could win. I mean, if you look at the cards, like, we're not down that many cards, and we have, like, 3 lights and 2 darks in our grave. Like, this game is pretty winnable. Like, yes, our opponent is, like, up a card or 2, but, like, we're up 1,000 life, and we got double Sork in our hand. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think Burn, like, if you find, like, a good list, I think Burn is actually, like, a pretty good choice for a new player. Especially, like, at locals, people just might not side against Burn, right? Like, and Burn is also, like, a pretty budget deck as well. So I feel like there's not any downside to playing Burn. Like, it's pretty easy to play. People probably won't be siding enough cards against it. And, like, all the cards are budget, right? So here's the thing, like, as far as predicting what deck will win Worlds, the favorite is always going to be whatever the most popular deck is, right? Like, if hypothetically, again, this is just a hypothetical, if hypothetically half the players showed up to Worlds playing Goat Control, my money would be on Goat Control winning, just because it's the most popular deck. Now, that doesn't mean that I would be saying that I think Goat Control is the best deck. I'm just saying that my money is always going to be on whatever the most popular choice is, because that's just how the math shakes out. And that's why with, like, a lot of past formats, like, why is it that if we look at any past format, whether it's 2005 or 2012 or whatever, why is it that, like, the decks that win, like, when people go back and play the format are different than the decks that people actually use then? It has to do with popularity. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So most likely, to answer your question, I'm kind of dancing around the answer to your question. Most likely, Chaos Turbo is going to be like 50% of the meta, and therefore my money would be on Chaos Turbo winning. Not because I think it's the best deck, but because it's the most popular deck, and I'm always going to bet on the most popular deck. Now, I mean, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed to win. Because, again, if 50% of the players show up with Chaos Turbo, well, what are Chaos Turbo's odds of winning? Well, the odds of winning are about 50%. If 60% of players show up with Chaos Turbo, what are its odds of winning? Well, about 60%. Now, if the weatherman says there's a 60% chance of it raining, that means 40% of the time it won't rain. And this might be sort of obvious. You might even find me saying all of this annoying, but, you know, it's true. I'm going to play Sork, by the way. I'm just thinking a lot about whether I'm putting this Sork in attack or defense, because our opponent plays Creature Swap. But he could also be playing, like, Zombira or, like, Ninja Grandmaster. But if he plays one of those, I have Ring, I guess. So I don't know. I guess we're going to play the Sork in defense. Having Ring here is, like, really nice because we actually get to stop... Oh, that's so brutal. All right, we probably lose now. I was actually so confident that we were going to win this game right up until the point he flipped Royal Decree. So realize, like, with any Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, this is just a universal rule. If you're entering, like, a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament with, say, a large number of rounds, any format, whatever, you need some degree of luck to win the tournament, right? Now, that doesn't mean that the person who won didn't deserve it or isn't skillful, but you need a combination of luck and skill to win. It's like poker, right? Like, whoever wins, you know, the WSOP is probably a really good poker player, but at some point they had to get lucky. Yeah, I mean, any game that is sort of has some random component to it is going to require some degree of luck. I don't know. Our opponent could be running Premature Burial. So, yeah, I mean, like, to figure out, like, what the best deck is, you really need to look over, like, probably, like, a sample of a lot of tournaments. And, again, it's hard to sort of disassociate best player and best deck. So here's the thing. It's, like, a concept that a lot of people don't understand is if a bad player wins a tournament, that is an indicator that their deck is probably very good. And if a bad deck wins a tournament, then it's the opposite. That's an indicator that the player is really good. And like a lot of people, they just don't understand that. They kind of think it's like, oh, like a negative times a negative equals a positive. That like if a bad player plays a bad deck, that like somehow like the bads multiply together to get good. So it's like, if you look at, for example, all right, we lose. Like a good example is in like the early GOAT format revival, like if we're talking like 2012, a lot of people won with like really bad GOAT control deck lists. And then what happened is, like, basically what happened is, you know, Chris would like win some or maybe even most of the GOAT format tournaments that he entered with GOAT control. And that was just because he was a really good player. And then you had other people copying him and not getting the same results. And it took a very long time for people to figure out that Detox GOAT control wasn't good because people kept copying it. And when a deck is like 70% of the meta, statistically, it's going to win almost every tournament, even if it's like a horrible deck. Does that like, hopefully you like kind of understand what I'm saying. Like, again, this is why like it's so hard. It's so hard to figure out like what the best deck is because you have all of these other variables. Now it's like, I think personally, if, say for example, this is like, again, like hypothetical, we take me playing Library FTK versus Anthony Alvarado playing Chaos Turbo, I am going to win more than 50% of the time, right? If we play like 100 games, I don't know how many I'm going to win, but it's going to be more than 50%. And to me, that's why I think Library FTK is the best deck. I think it has a positive matchup versus almost every deck in the format, especially the most popular deck. Right? I mean, even this deck, like this deck definitely has some stuff against Library FTK. Like if Library FTK gets a bad draw, you can kind of like time seal and wing blast them a bunch. But Library FTK is going to be favored versus this. Now, some people, it's like when they're faced with the choice of, oh, I can play a deck like Library FTK and have like, I don't know, say a 60% chance to beat the best players. Some people just say, well, I don't think 60% is good enough. I want to have like a 70% chance or an 80% chance or whatever. And obviously like the downside with Library FTK or a deck like it is that yes, you have more than a 50% chance to beat the best GOAT format players, but you can also just lose to like a random bad player because you drew bad. That's like kind of always the trade-off with combo decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, at least from my experience, is that combo decks have better matchups versus the best players, but also have worst matchups versus the worst players. So, like, if you gave me even something like GOAT Control, right? If I played a GOAT Control mirror versus, like, say the bottom 10% of GOAT format players, right? If I'm playing a GOAT Control mirror versus the bottom 10% of GOAT format players, I am probably going to win more than 99% of the time. And so would most people in my chat, by the way. Right? If you've played a decent amount of GOAT format. However, if I play Library FTK versus the bottom 10% of GOAT format players, at best, I'm going to be winning like 80% of the time. It might be less. It might be like 75%. It might be 70%. And like a lot of people don't like a deck that has those attributes. At GOAT format Worlds, however, I think there's a lot more merit to playing something like Library FTK or some sort of other combo deck because you're not playing versus that bottom 10% of GOAT format players because the bottom 10% of GOAT format players aren't going to GOAT format Worlds, right? So that is why, like, if I were playing in GOAT format Worlds, I would be playing Library FTK. And here's the thing. Most times, I'm not going to win GOAT format Worlds. And, like, people for some reason, like, think that, like, oh, well, that means you shouldn't play Library FTK. Again, you're going to have to get a little lucky either way. So if I'm going to have to get a little lucky either way, I want to play the deck that gives myself the maximum number of chances to get lucky versus the best players. If that does that make any sense at all? I don't know. You know, maybe some people, you know, get what I'm putting down here, but again, I think like for most players, if say someone in chat is going to GOAT format Worlds and they're saying, "Hey Alan, what's your advice?" My advice would be start practicing Library FTK from now until the date of Worlds and enter with Library FTK. That will give you the best odds to win Worlds. Most of the time you're not going to win, but it's going to give you the best odds. Yeah, I mean, Burn isn't a bad choice either, but one of the nice things about a deck like Library FTK is that I don't feel like people are really citing much sort of dedicated hate against it. Like, there are some cards that people might have in their side that can incidentally be decent versus Library FTK. Even something like Dust Tornado is a good example. This is going to be a very hard match. Yeah, this is rough. I think we basically have to kill the chain energy, or I just have no way to really win this game. But this is very brutal because, like, he went Prohibition naming Heavy Storm, and then I don't play MST. So I actually don't think there's any way I can win, if I'm being honest. Yeah, he called Heavy. I know you guys can't see the chat, but he called Heavy. I mean, we still have triple Wing Blast, though. That can maybe get us out of some tough spots. I also feel like we've got very little on our side for Burn. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, you know? Yeah, like, Upstart is such a shitty card versus Chain Energy. I feel like I have to activate it, though. I don't really have much of a choice. I mean, it's hard. It's like, do I want to sort of base my whole strategy around hoping to top deck Heavy Storm? I don't think so, because at any time, like, if I top deck Heavy Storm, I can just Wing Blast the Prohibition and then activate Heavy Storm, which I think is pretty good, right? Like, I think that's like a pretty reasonable out. Alright, we're gonna kill the new set and see what it is. So one of the things that I think people always confuse with, like, variety. So I agree with what you're saying, that there is more variety in terms of deck archetypes, right? Like, if we look at the pie of, like, what different deck types people are playing, there is probably more variety right now than there has ever been in GOAT format's history. And that is a good thing. However, a lot of the decks, even things that are different deck types, are becoming more uniform. And, like, the obvious example is Jar Agreed. Like, every deck is just playing a bunch of Jara Greeds now instead of the more situational tech choices. And, like, I don't know. How do you feel about, like, every deck playing, like, 3 Jara Greeds? I mean, that's just kind of your opinion at the end of the day. But I think there are some people who will find that, you know, not what they want, right? They don't want every deck to just become, like, you know, every deck's playing, like, Jara Greed, like, Time Steal, and Trap Dust Shoot, right? I think some people do not enjoy that gameplay. I swear, if I end up winning this game somehow... I mean, it's doable. Like, if our opponent just sets another monster and passes, we could just flip up Faith, get cross out the set, and then just start poking for 700 every turn. I mean, I don't think combo decks are declining. It's just most people... The thing with combo in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is most people, they just either like combo decks or they don't. Like, most people don't strategically go, oh, this is a good meta for combo. Oh, this is a bad meta for combo. They just keep going, well, if I like combo, I'm going to keep playing combo. If I don't like combo, I'm never going to play it. I don't care how good it is. And again, as someone who historically has played a lot of combo in Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's just always what's happened. Like, there have been so many times where I try to convince other players, hey, this is a good meta for this combo deck, and their response is, I don't care, I'm never playing combo, and there's nothing you can do to convince me. This is such an interesting board state, because, again, you know, we just haven't used our Wing Blast just because our opponent hasn't forced me to use it. And I was going to say it's interesting because our opponent is locked out of playing more spells, but of course he just did that. So this card must be something really good. Yeah, I definitely think, like, honestly, if I had to pick, like, the single most underrated card in GOAT format right now, it might literally be Royal Decree. I think there's definitely a case for that. So as far as what makes Library FTK the best alt-win deck... See, so now we have the option, I don't know if I want to yet. But we can go Wing Blast. Wing Blast the Prohibition. Hold on, let me think about this. Let me think about my play, and then I'll answer the question about Library FTK. So we can go Wing Blast the Prohibition. Activate Heavy Storm. The problem is, I have no way to summon Sork. I swear, I wish Night Assailant could kill your own monster. I really wish Night Assailant could kill your own monster. Because if Night Assailant could kill your own monster, we would have game here, I think. I don't know. I think we have to keep poking. Right? Because we can attack for... We can go Wing Blast Prohibition. We can go 32. 32 plus 7. 32 plus 7 is 39. Alright. Yeah, we'll just keep poking. Alright, he cylindered my faith, which is... That is actually, like, probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. But I guess it's... You gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, you're right, I could go... But the problem is, if I go tribe, kill my own faith, then I'm also killing my own breaker, and then it's still not enough for game. At least I'm pretty sure, right? Because yeah, 30. Yeah, it's still not enough for game. We just need like a random light, don't we? The problem now is attacking does nothing. Well, see, not everyone plays MST. That's the thing. Like, Royal Decree is actually very good against this deck. Because this deck doesn't play MST, and it plays a lot of traps. Yeah. I think, honestly, I'm just going to go Wing Blast Heavy Storm. And, like, just attack for a bunch of damage. Because we have another Wing Blast. So the fact that we have, like, another Wing Blast... makes me feel a little better about this play. So yeah, I actually think I've been playing this game very, very well. I don't mean to pat myself on the back too much, but... Yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I like 2 Decrees. I think, like, my Chaos Control list plays 2 Decrees and other traps. And people just think that, oh, you can't play Decree with other traps. And it's like, yes, you can. You can just activate your own traps first and then Royal Decree. Like, I don't know. One of the things I've noticed throughout, like, GOAT format's history is, like, people have always thought, like, oh, I can't play this card if it conflicts with this other card. And it's like, no, you actually can. You actually can play cards that conflict with each other. You just have to play around your own cards. Like, it's not really the end of the world, you know? I think I probably should have just summoned my tribe for more damage, by the way. I think having my opponent be at 15 would be a bit better. I don't even know what he calls. MST? Yeah, MST. Yeah, he called MST, which we just don't have in our deck. Okay, he's just gonna lose now. He's got double Prohibition. I don't even care what the hell he calls. Now keep in mind, this second Prohibition called Wing Blast, but he can't use it on the Wing Blast that I already have set. Okay, so yeah, now he's just dead. Now he's just dead because we have a light in our grave. I'm actually pretty amazed that we won game 1 against Burn with no MST in our main. I mean, to be fair, his Burn deck isn't very good. Because Forso was asked, well, what should I play locals? And I said, well, Burn, as long as your list is good. Our opponent's list is not very good. I mean, we definitely want, like, do we want Torrential just to, like, kill a random monster? Like a Deslakuta or something? Do we want, I don't know, maybe like Mind Control? Okay, what are we siding out? Like, Upstart seems pretty bad against this deck. Book of Moon seems pretty bad against this deck. Yeah, his burn deck is not very good. I'm trying to be nice, but probably second Tsukiyomi, right? Yeah, we definitely want the second Tsukiyomi. Probably going to side out Faith, because I think we're going to be siding out... Well, no, we're siding in spells, siding out spells. Chain Energy is really good. Yeah, versus a real burn deck, we probably would have lost. But I want to take out Upstarts. I definitely want to take out Upstarts. Just because, like, Upstart is such a horrible card against Chain Energy. Like, hey, pay 500, give your opponent 1,000. Like, that's not what we want to be doing here. Do we want, like, Snatch Steal? I think Snatch Steal can be fine. Yeah, it's debatable. Snatch Steal is not the... Spy is bad, though. We definitely want to take out Spy. I'd even take out, like, all 3 Spies. Should we just actually just cut our number of monsters? Just take out all the Spies? 6. I might just do that. I might even put in, like, Blade Knight, just in case he plays flips. Torrential is okay. Maybe I'll try Torrential just because I'm also siding out Spies. I think Torrential does get a bit better if you're siding out Spies. But then, of course, we also just don't have very many Darks. This is awkward. Because Spy is such a bad card against him, but because we're not playing Dokochi, we can't really just get away with siding out all our Spies. I don't know. Let's see. How many Darks do we have with no Spies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going to try it without any Spies. I'm going to try it. It might be horrible, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try the, like, side in Torrential, side out Spies idea. Yeah, he has Chain Energy. Alright, I'll just assume he did this in the right order. He's supposed to do all these things before activating Chain Energy. My opponent just said, hold on, I'll show you the chat. He said, I'm low-key retarded. So I think what I want to do is I think I want to pay 500 to set Wing Blast. And then, like, Wing Blast to Chain Energy, set all my other stuff. I think I also want to set Ring, though. I think it's worth it to pay the 500 to set Ring now. Because we saw that he plays Deslakuta, and if he flips Deslakuta, I want to just ring it, like, right away. I don't want to have to wait a turn. Okay, same idea. Same idea. Stealth Bird. I mean, this is just kind of like a bad Pac-Man deck, I guess. Okay, just making sure he was still ending. I'm actually just gonna do this. He is never going to expect Heavy Storm here. No, you don't pay for Thunder Dragon activation. Chain Energy says when you play or set a card. I mean, I can't see it anymore because it's not in play. But unless, like, Chain Energy... Unless I just totally... Yeah, because I'm not activating a card. I'm activating the effect. Alright, this is gonna be sick. So yeah, we basically time blocked him with the Wing Blast, didn't pay, and then Heavy Stormed him. And then now we just get to set Faith to just Heavy Storm him again. Which is, I mean, it is like a pretty disgusting sequence of events there. Where we just have Wing Blast into Time Seal, into Heavy Storm, into Faith. I mean, I guess I'll pot first. Maybe I'll want a Faith for pot instead of Heavy. Why would you have to pay for Thunder Dragon? Just read the card. Did I normal summon? Did I special summon? Did I set? Or did I activate cards from my respective hand? Did I do any of those things? No? So I don't see the issue. I mean, I'm just reading what the card says. He might just concede here. He's down like 10,000 cards. Yeah, he just conceded. No, Thunder Dragon is not activating a card from your hand. It's activating an effect from your hand. It would, not that like they're hand traps in GOAT format, but it would be like the same thing with like a hand trap, right? Like if your opponent, and this is the same in current Yu-Gi-Oh! If your opponent has Chain Energy and you activate like a Deity Crow or an Effect Veiler or an Ash Blossom, all of those things are free. Oh, really? Is that the current ruling or is that the 2005 ruling? I don't know. To me, that ruling just defies what's printed on the card. I don't know. Now I have to, like, look up what it... Did Chain Energy, like, did its text ever change over the years? Is that maybe what happened? Oh, it just hasn't been reprinted in forever. I don't know. To me, yeah, to me it's like they just worded this card incorrectly. Okay, I admit that I'm wrong. I'm just telling you that the way that the card is worded is not intuitive. Again, I know what Thunder Dragon does. I'm just telling you that Chain Energy is worded badly, and it hasn't been reprinted in a long time. If they were reprinting Chain Energy today, clearly they would say, activate cards or effects, right? Because, you know, anything else in Yu-Gi-Oh! That says, oh, when you activate a card, do X, Y, and Z, those effects don't trigger when you activate an effect. Like, there's some stuff that say, like, cards and effects. Like, Spell Canceller, I think, says, like, negates spell effects. Well, even with spells, it says there's and their effects on the field. So if there was like a hand trap that was a spell that like discarded itself, you would be able to use that under spell canceller. I mean, I don't think there's a card like that exists, so like it's kind of a bad example. But even like Royal Decree, I think says like negate effects, right? Yeah, I mean, all of the hand traps that are traps, like impermanents and evenly matched, they require you to put them on the field. So Decree would negate those cards. But I don't know, like we all know that like Skill Drain, for example, right? Like Skill Drain doesn't stop Thunder Dragon. Right? Because it's, well, I mean, there that's also a bad example because this is on the field. But like if Skill Drain said, yeah, that's like that's like a bad example for like a lot of different reasons. I'm trying to think of like another example that works. But actually like an example is, so Prohibition does stop Thunder Dragon, but it used to not. Like they changed the way that Prohibition was worded, and I think the ruling on Prohibition, I think it changed in like 2007. So like in 2005 GOAT format, if you go Prohibition Call Thunder Dragon, I as far as I know, you could still discard a Thunder Dragon under Prohibition in GOAT format. Because they changed the wording and they changed the ruling on it. Like Prohibition used to be a much weaker card than it is today. Like it used to have like all of these corner cases where it's like, oh, but if they activated an effect and it's a Wednesday, it doesn't work. Like, and that used to be one of the corner cases of Prohibition. And the reason that I remember this is because so in 2007, again, I have like photographic memory when it comes to this stuff. In 2007, like summer of 2007, Snipe Hunter was very popular. And it used to be that like under Prohibition, if Prohibition named a card, you could still discard it to Snipe Hunter, right? So, and Snipe Hunter, by the way, it just has a discard effect, right? Maybe the better example is like Raigeki Break. You all know what Raigeki Break does. So, like, in that last game, like, our opponent went Prohibition Call Heavy Storm. Now, in current Yu-Gi-Oh!, I believe you would not be able to discard that Heavy Storm to pay a cost. Because that's still using the card. But, like, in 2005, you would be able to. Let me look it up, actually. Because I'm not 100% sure, like, how they changed and when they changed it. But, you know, most things, what I'm trying to say is that basically, like, prior to, like, summer of 2007 or so, most cards said, like, basically, if a card triggered when you did a specific thing, it usually didn't mean in the hand. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so this is the old ruling. The discarded card may be used to pay costs. It can be discarded, tributed, or sent to the grave. That's how Prohibition used to work. But now it cannot be used to pay costs. I don't even know what Horsey Tail does. Is discarded? So yeah, there are a lot of, basically, like, the general trend has been that in older Yu-Gi-Oh, there were, like, when a card said you couldn't do something, it had less restrictions. Like, the classic example is Last Warrior from Another Planet. So in GOAT format, if I have, like, Last Warrior from Another Planet in play, I could tribute that for, say, Jinzo. You used to legally target a Prohibition monster. Well, you still, yeah, I mean, you still can't. Again, I'm telling you, like, this ruling was changed because I was there. Like, 2007, like, a bunch of things were changed with Prohibition. And then, like, even later, like, in 2012, 2013 or something, they changed some other stuff. So, I mean, maybe they, like, changed it one way and then changed it back or something. I'm just telling you that, like, again, a bunch of stuff was changed with regards to Prohibition in 2007, because I was literally a judge then, and people actually did side the card Prohibition. So it did come up. And then Last Warrior from Another Planet. I don't know when this ruling was changed on Last Warrior. I want to say it was sometime in, like, the 2010 to 2012 era where they changed this interaction. How you could, you know, you could tribute a Last Warrior for another tribute monster, and now you can't. But yeah, it is weird that Chain Energy works that way, because the way that it's worded says, you know, activate cards, not activate effects. You know, like, if we look up, like, card or effect, there are, like, a lot of things in Yu-Gi-Oh! That mention card or effect. Right? Yeah, like, so here it says, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect. Right? That's how they word cards now. So if Chain Energy were to be reprinted today, they would need to change the text if they wanted it to work that way. So basically, this is a really long explanation of why Chain Energy doesn't work the way that I would expect it to work based on how it's worded. Because you see, there's 18 pages of cards, like even Ash Blossom, right? When a card or effect is activated, you can do this. Because if Ash Blossom said, when a card is activated, then it wouldn't be able to stop something like Maxi, right? If Ash Blossom just said, hey, when a card is activated that does any of these things, it would not be able to stop Maxi. So the fact that it says card or effect is why it is able to stop Maxi. Chain Energy, however, does not say card or effect. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, like, I'm right and other people are wrong. I'm saying Chain Energy is badly worded, and it contradicts how every other card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is worded. That's all I'm saying. So basically, you know, the point is that Chain Energy needs a reprint. That's what I'm trying to say. Chain Energy needs a reprint. Because it does not work the way that the card says it works. And when the rules contradict the card text, to me that means a reprint is in order with new text. You could set Mask here, by the way. You could reasonably set Mask as well. But I want the Spy to, like, bait a Crosshead if he has it. Oh, you know, I could chain Jar in case we, like, top deck a Sinister or Night Assailant. Yeah, I already said okay. It's too late. But I should have chained Jar here. You know, there's a 3 out of 34 chance that we would top deck the Sinister or the Night Assailant. That's kind of brutal. There go all the spies. But at the same time, it's also fine because, like, we have Mask. I'm just gonna ring this. I don't want my Spy to get banished. Alright, well, I didn't get punished for my misplay. If our opponent has like a Blade Knight, we're probably just screwed. So I could set the cross out here to play around Dust Shoot. But I think our opponent is on aggro, and I want to be able to discard the cross out to Tribe. So that's why I'm not setting the cross out. It sucks. It's not the end of the world, but I was hoping we would get to just time seal our opponent and just pseudo time walk him. We could really use like a Night Assailant or a Sinister. But luckily our opponent isn't drawing monsters. That's honestly, like, I feel like one of the weaknesses of aggro decks can be spots like this where you just don't draw any monsters, and then your opponent just kind of gets to sit there and do whatever the hell they want. I'm thinking here if I should, like, set Bookamoon to play around Dust Shoot. Yeah, I guess I will. We can also just go, like, book cross out. Like, if our opponent attacks the monster, we can book it and then cross out it. It's a -1, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. It's kind of annoying. Alright, fine. I hope the attack goes through, but it does not go through. Like, low-key, this is something I talked about before, Sakuretsu is like an underrated card against Chaos Turbo. Like, people just think the card is entirely dead against Chaos Turbo, and it is, like, not at all. But yeah, I am going to cross out this. Yeah, it feels bad, but, like, my plan is just hope our opponent never draws more monsters, and we can just sort of get out of this situation. Oh, that sucks. Man, Donzalug would be so... Yeah, it feels so bad. I mean, if our next top deck is good, it's fine, I guess. Because he is going to basically have to redraw like a 1400 vanilla. But he basically forced us to use our Wing Blast, and then now we don't, you know, we don't have it. You know, we can't combo it with Night Assailant, because we had to go Wing Blast discarding our second Wing Blast. I don't know, maybe there's some way I could have played this out better. But yeah, our plan basically is just hope our opponent doesn't top deck monsters for a while. Oh, Sangen's a good draw. We like Sangen. Sangen's good. So yeah, if he just doesn't draw monsters for a while, we can just keep poking with this Sangen. And maybe that'll get us somewhere. I mean, our opponent's definitely favored, but this is still anyone's game, you know? Okay. I guess we should probably just activate Jar, right? Just hope, like, the Jar draws us into, like, a Graceful. Our opponent's at 21. Having Sinister in hand is also nice. Because, like, if our opponent goes, like, call for Donzlug and then try to get the last card in our hand, well, then it's a Sinister. And all of our spies are gone. I don't even want Night Assailant. I mean, maybe we just want Night Assailant just to kill his monster. I mean, our only legal targets are Faith or Night Assailant. We have no lights in our grave. Man, the stuff that we can get back with Faith, like, isn't even that good. He's used one cross out. I guess I get Faith just because it's a light. I mean, I think Night Assailant is, like, would have the more helpful effect. Well, of course, I get Faith. Well, I'm going to get Faith because it's a light. And then, of course, I just draw the light anyways. Yeah, there's no way I can really play around Dust Shoot unless I just... I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a ridiculous play, and we'll see if it works. I'm going to make an absolutely ludicrous play, which is I'm just going to fail to find on all my Thunder Dragons. Specifically to play around Dust Shoot. Because the Faith is going to get back Upstart that's going to put 2 cards in our hand. We're going to draw for our turn. That's going to give us 3 cards in our hand. And I just don't want to have 4 cards in hand. I just want to play around Dust Shoot for the rest of the game. And I know that, like, most people would not do this play. But, like, I do not want to go discard Thunder Dragon, get, like, 2 more Thunder Dragons, and then top deck, like, a Chaos Sork and have my opponent Dust Shoot it. Like, you know how bad that feels? And I even top deck the Sork. See, guys? It's like I'm a wizard. I literally said if I top deck the Sork, I don't want it to get Dust Shooted. And now I top deck the Sork. And knowing me, because I'm a goddamn wizard, if we check the replay after the game, he's going to have Dust Shoot set. And you're going to go, holy shit, Alan, you are a goddamn genius. Yeah, he is solemn. Yeah, it's unfortunate because he just had the solemn for the Sork anyways. It is sad because I mean, especially now that he top deck Crossout, I really think that I'm just going to lose this game. But I played this game so well. Like, I played this game so well, and I'm just not going to get rewarded for it. Yeah, I mean, we're just dead to anything. Yeah, I will make this a video. I almost want to concede just so I can see if he had Dust Shoot set. If he didn't have Dust Shoot set, I kind of look like an idiot. But it's like, I didn't need the Thunder Dragons for anything, right? Like, it's not like, oh, if I had 2 Thunder Dragons in my hand, I would have been able to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, there's no reason not to just discard the Thunder Dragons there. Oh, what am I thinking? Sorry. I clicked on Upstarts, but I meant Crossout. Sorry. Some of you guys are probably just thinking, what the hell is he doing? Even is Tsukiyomi supposed to come in for this matchup? It probably is, right? I would just because like you just summon a Tsukiyomi and attack over a guy. But I don't know, like, what's all the stuff we're supposed to be siding out? Probably just this, right? I don't know. Maybe Ghostrider will watch this video and he'll tell me if I sided correctly. And then I want to set Sangan to bait, like, Exiled Force or Mind Control. Most Warrior players aren't siding in flips. I mean, I look at the deck list just like everyone else. Most Warrior players do not side in flips. And even if they side in, like, 2 flips, it's still not correct to, like, bring in knock for, like, 1 flip. Or 2 flips. I mean, I guess we'll just get Sinister. Yeah, Sinister, I think. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, I feel like Spy is just too good. Because it's not like your opponent is siding at a bunch of things that counter Spy. I mean, if we thought, like, I don't know, maybe if we thought, like, our opponent had, like, 3 Mystic level 2s post-side, I could see taking out Spy then. So we just kill that for free. Oh, I don't like having double Chaos Monster. I mean, speaking of stuff to side out against aggro, I think you could side out, I think you could side out, like, 1 Chaos Sork. I mean, I know maybe it looks like I'm just saying that because I have one in my hands. But, like, I actually do think you can just... So he has probably Solemn Saku. I don't know. I'm going to give my opponent credit. I'm going to give him credit and assume that he has outs to the stuff in my hand. And Saku the Blade Knight. Like, I'm assuming he has Solemn Saku set. Because we could take the Blade Knight, hit Heavy Storm, and then he'll Solemn it, and then we'll try to attack over the Blade Knight. Yeah, and actually we have Heavy in our hand anyways. Yeah, I mean, long story short, using Saku on the Blade Knight is correct. There's basically no reason not to. Alright, I'm just gonna force out the sword. He could have, like, a bunch of chainables. He could have, like, 2 Jar Greeds. Yeah, we'll just say go. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm guessing this set card is some sort of battle trap. Like a Saku or a Ring or a Mirror Force. This card can be basically anything. Could be like a Dust. Could be another Solemn. Yeah, I definitely think you can side out a Sork versus aggro. Especially if you just feel, like, really confident about the matchup in general. Like, if you just think, hey, the only way I'm gonna lose is by having a bunch of dead Chaos Monsters in your hand, yeah, I mean, go ahead, side out one. We can also summon Tsukiyomi here and, like, start attacking. I mean, that would play into Torrential. I don't think this card is Torrential. This could be, though. What would really suck is if he goes Torrential and then summons a Kaiku. Oh, I'm actually surprised. I really didn't think this card was Torrential. You know what? I'm just going to go aggro. I think I'm just going to go aggro. I mean, it'll suck if I run into the Saku. Oh, he actually just takes it. All right, I'm feeling pretty confident then. I'm feeling pretty confident. Because we're up cards, we're up life, and one Chaos Sork hit is lethal. He does not have Light and Dark in his grave. Oh, does he have Solemn? This card could very easily be a Solemn, the one in the middle. All right, and some warrior decks, they do side in Morphing Jar. I mean, if it's Morphing Jar, he's probably just dead though, right? Because he couldn't stop this hit. He might have like Morphing Jar Book of Moon, where he books her. I'm just thinking if I should set this Snatch before I attack. That's kind of what I'm debating. You know what? You know what? I'm just gonna be an absolute lunatic. I don't think he has Mirror Force. I really don't. Now I'm gonna look like the biggest idiot on the face of the planet if he does in fact have Mirror Force. If he has it, it was just well played on his part. Okay, so now if he just has anything... Yeah, is there any way that... Yeah, I don't think there's any way we lose this, right? Yeah, if he had solemned like the first Sork, maybe things would have been like, maybe he would have lived like another turn if he solemned the first Sork, because he was gonna take damage anyways. But we probably still would have won. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we should side out a Sork in this matchup? I'm kind of on board with it. I mean, we sided out a Faith, so we don't have a lot of lights to begin with. What do you think? What do you think about doing this? Go down to 19 monsters? I think it's fine. I mean, we still got like double upstart, 3 jar, so we've got like some ways to draw into our stuff. I don't know, let's try this. I think Time Steal is decent against aggro. Like, it's definitely not an amazing card, but like, it's never dead. I mean, I've never seen a warrior deck playing Cyberjar. It's one of those things, like, if you're just playing a really weird card, like, okay, you got me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to play around a card that 99.9% of warrior players aren't playing. You know, maybe 1 out of 1,000 warrior players has a Cyberjar in their main or side. I think maybe I've seen it in the side before. Oh, look at this. Look at this, boys. This is a hand that I can get excited about. Now, our opponent might just have, like, you know, 3 Trinity pieces and a dust shoot or something. But I like this hand. It would be even better if we were going first. No dust shoot? Ah, shit. I mean, he's clearly going to send back Mask, right? I don't know. I mean, either one of these cards would hurt us, but I think... I don't know. It depends. It depends, I suppose. Oh, he's sending back Tsukiyomi. What does that mean? What does it mean? He's saying I have a way to deal with the Mask? Like cross out or... Mind control wouldn't even be that bad. Like, okay, you can mind control, get back your dust shoot, have fun. But he is basically saying... He's saying, hey, I have an out to the Mask. In this case, though, I still think we set it, right? I don't think, like, there's some reason to not set Mask. So is he gonna, like, Solemn Arsaku and then force us to Wind Blast? Is that the idea? Or maybe he goes, like, main phase 2 cross out? Main phase 2 mind control? Okay, he's gonna book. I mean, I was a co-founder of GoatFormat.com, if that's what you're asking. Oh, he's thinking. So what I want to know is, if I chain one of the cards, does, like, Xing Zhen Hu fizzle? Because, like, what I want to do is just chain Time Seal. I think you can't use either one if you chain one. If you chain, you can, okay, the remaining one will not be able to be activated. Okay, he does not have a Solemn for our duo, or he decides not to use it. If our opponent had Solemn, I think it would be 100% correct for him to Solemn the duo. I know most people will just say, like, oh, you should never Solemn a duo, but I think this is one of the situations where you do want to Solemn a duo. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I think we're not favored to win this game here. Okay, yeah, now we're just really screwed. We are really, really screwed. We basically have to, like, top deck Spy. We want to top deck, like, Spy or Snatch or Zombira. Or, like, Pot. There is a little stream delay. I know you were watching. I'm not, like, setting it that way, right? It's not like... It's just... It's one of those things where, like, I don't know. Realize that I'm in Cambodia, so, like, the time that it takes for, like, my stream to get to YouTube server and then send it to you, like, there's definitely some lag there, right? Like, it's just... you know, the limits of physics. Like, I can't just send something from one side of the world to the other side of the world faster than the speed of light. Well, of course, now I want to top deck a Chaos Monster. You don't have to jar greed. I've got one Chaos Monster left in my deck, and it's BLS. Of course, there's a lot of other things I like to draw, too. Tough match. You know, I thought I was gonna get him. I thought I was gonna get him with the Time Seal Wing Blast duo play, but didn't pan out. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Solemn, because if the Jar of Greed, like, top decked me into a Spy, you won't be able to Solemn the Spy. I mean, maybe he's stream sniping, I don't know. Like, if I thought he was sniping, I would just call him out and say, hey, I think he's sniping. But I would say he probably wasn't sniping there. Let's watch the replay. If he was just sniping us the whole time, it'll be obvious from the replay. Plus, I also want to see if he had the Dust Shoot set game 1, right? That was like the sick play. Oh, I tell you, it's like, I do hate those games where it's like, I played so well throughout the entire match. Maybe not perfectly, but I definitely played very, very well, and we still got 2-1s. Why is it not letting me watch the replay? Is it some sort of issue with my internet? Oh, come on, DuelingBook. Yeah, I mean, I might stream a lot more, by the way, because in my old apartment, these speeds are like 5 times faster than what I was getting. Okay, it's just DuelingBook being DuelingBook. Okay. There was also a moment where we set Sangan and he went Mystic level 2, attack into our set Sangan. And if he was stream sniping, that wouldn't have happened. So I'm actually pretty confident that he was not stream sniping. But I definitely do have to find out if I just expertly played around Dust Shoot in game 1. I would say there's about like an 80% chance he had Dust Shoot set there. But maybe not, you know? I mean, they're not amazing versus any deck, but it's a question of, like, what are you gonna do? Like, oh, I'm just gonna main deck a bunch of Sakuretsus or something? Like, I don't know. And Jar Agreed, I feel like, actually is good against aggro. Just because, like, a lot of the aggro matchup is, like, do you have your power cards or not? Like, do I have my Mirror? Do I have my Torrential? Do I have my Snatch? Do I have my Pot? Do I have my Graceful? And Jar Agreed, like, helps with that goal. And Jar Agreed helps play around Dust Shoot. Jar Agreed's a good card. Like, Jar Agreed is the most popular trap in GOAT format right now by the numbers, but I feel like that's for good reason. Like, I don't think it's, oh, it's just like a fad or something. Here I wonder what we should be doing there. I mean, you could argue that maybe you should, like, either Wing Blast the Breaker or let him use the Breaker's effect. Might be a misplay on my part. And then, yeah, we cross out because, you know, it's aggro. Oh, yeah, and then he has, like, Rhoda for Dawn. The Rhoda for Dawn, like, really turned things around for him. That put us in such an awkward spot. I mean, maybe you could argue that we should have, like, set the Wing Blast, the second Wing Blast from our hands to play around Rhoda for, you know, to not make Rhoda for Dawn a thing. So there it's like, if we just set the second Wing Blast, obviously he won't Rhoda for Dawn. He'll Rhoda for Blade Knight instead. We'll take the Blade Knight hit, go to 42, and then I've double Wing Blast set. And then we can just go, like, Wing Blast the Blade Knight, you know, discard Night Assailant, get back Spy, set Spy. I don't know. I think you could argue that was a misplay. Like, it's easy to say that, oh, you're being results-oriented. But I feel like what I always think about in terms of my plays is, if I do this play, what can go right, what can go wrong? And I don't feel like there's a lot of upside for leaving the Wing Blast in our hand. It only has downside, which is that he could go Rhoda for Dawn or just draw the Dawn naturally, right? It's a 10% chance that he has Dawn. Slightly more after you factor in, like, Pot and Graceful. So I feel like by setting that second Wing Blast, we just get to free roll the Dawn and that it no longer becomes a thing. And in fact, if he were to just top deck the Dawn, it would actively be, you know, bad. It would just be a 1400 vanilla. And we never want to go Wing Blast, discard Wing Blast anyways. So yeah, I think I misplayed there by not setting the second Wing Blast, if I'm being totally honest. It's quite possible that if I just set that second Wing Blast, we just end up winning the game because we get to Wing Blast the Blade Knight to the top, add Spy to our hand, and then have the Spy to block Blade Knight, which is just an absolutely sick play. So realize that, like, versus aggro, you're not, like, normal Chaos decks are playing, like, Dust Shoot instead of Time Seal. And we all know which one of those cards is better against aggro, right? You know, it's Time Seal by a mile. And there were a lot of situations where we got good value out of Time Seal. And Time Seal has synergy with Wing Blast, so I'm not saying you want 3 Time Seals. Like, normally I just side it out. But, yeah, I definitely think, like, it's a pretty decent card against aggro. And it's certainly better than what most other people are playing instead. Okay, he did have the Dust Shoot. So, since I know some people didn't see, this is, like, you'll get to see what ends up happening. And then, yeah, I just decided to push. And then I decided to get Faith here. My only legal targets are Faith or Night Assailant, but I have 0 lights in my grave, so I decided to get Faith just because it's a light. And then here's what I do. I set Faith, activate Thunder Dragon, And then discard both Thunder Dragons. Chaos players do side out Dust Shoot versus aggro, but Time Seal is a main decked card. Time Seal isn't in my side deck. Right? Like, I don't, like, the idea is that if we play Time Seal instead of Dust Shoot in our main deck, Time Seal has synergy with Wing Blast, and then, you know, as a side effect, also happens to be better against aggro than Dust Shoot is. So it's like, basically what I'm saying is, like, you say, oh, I don't like Time Seal, I don't like Time Seal. Okay, well then what are you saying to do instead? Are you just saying, like, Chaos decks should just be, like, main decking a bunch of Sakuretsu armors? Like, what is it that you're proposing as an alternative? Because, again, like, most Chaos decks are playing Dust Shoot in their main deck over Time Seal in the main deck. So this deck is generally going to be better against aggro. Again, I think it's going to be 2% better against aggro, because Time Seal is, like, a much better card. But anyways, yeah, we just end up playing around Dust Shoot here. And I even say on stream, I'm like, well, I want to play around Dust Shoot because if I top deck Chaos Sorcerer, I don't want him to be able to Dust Shoot my Chaos Sorcerer. And then, of course, you know, I basically do top deck the Chaos Sorcerer. He has Solemn for it, and then we end up losing. But I really think, like, if I had just used my Wing Blast better, I think I would have had a real chance of winning this game. I mean, Wing Blast in general is, like, in some senses, I think it can be harder to play than Raigeki Break. I think it's, like, you have to get used to it. Like, it has different gameplay patterns than Raigeki Break does. Yeah, and then he attacks us for game. But yeah, it was pretty sick how we played around that Dust Shoot. And then we just still lost anyway. What time is it? It's like 12:30. I mean, you're definitely still not favored against aggro. Like, to be clear, I don't think this deck is favored against aggro, but I don't think any Chaos Turbo deck is favored against aggro. But, like, obviously if you're winning, I don't know, 45% of the time instead of 40%, well, I think that's an improvement. That's kind of my view. It's not that I think this deck beats aggro, I just think that it loses to it less, which does count for something. I think a lot of people think of matchups as being binary, like, oh, it's either a winning matchup or a losing matchup, but, like, the extent always matters. I don't know. What do you guys want me to play? Because I think I have time for, like, one more match. Where was the... I actually do low-key kind of want to try out this deck. I mean, I don't think it's perfect. But at the same time, I kind of want to try it out. This is, like, another deck from my last video, and I think this deck just looks so cool. And it won, like, a pretty stacked tournament. Well, again, you're thinking about the card in binary terms. Well, is it good or bad? Like, well, it's better than some cards and worse than some other. So we talked about this before on stream. In GOAT format, there's a mechanic called Fail to Find. So with any card that searches your deck, you can use it and not search anything. Right? So, same thing with, like, Reinforcement of the Army. If you have no warriors in your deck and you have a Reinforcement of the Army in your hands, you can just activate Reinforcement of the Army and get nothing. Or, the other classic example is, like, Skilled White and Skilled Dark Magician. Or even Dark Mimic level 1. Like, this can be relevant because people do play this card. So Dark Mimic level 1, if you have Dark Mimic level 1 on your side of the field, during your standby phase, you can just send it from the field to your graveyard and just search nothing. Just go, hey, I'm going to level up my Dark Mimic level 1 and get nothing. And for decks that play Dark Mimic level 1, that is like a relevant thing that can actually come up. Right? Say like you want to darken your grave to play Chaos Sark. Definitely, you know, something that's pretty crucial. So that's why that happens that way. Anyways, I'm just going to play one more match with the Nova Ethos kind of Spirit Reaper mid-range deck. And we're going to see how it goes. This is one of those decks that's kind of like highly metagamed. So depending on what we run into, you know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. But it's a cool deck. It's definitely a cool deck. And yeah, I mentioned this earlier on stream, but the fail to find ruling was changed in, I believe, roughly August or September 2008. I'm just going to try to double Reaper my opponent. I'm going to hope my opponent sets a monster, and then I'm going to summon Reaper, flip Reaper, and attack with both, and hope Mirror Force isn't a thing. You know what? Actually, I think going Breaker is probably better. I'm not going to get too greedy. If it's Raigeki Break, though, I just get absolutely screwed. He just goes chains Raigeki Break. Yeah, if this is Raigeki Break. Oh, Royal Decree. Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Oh, and he's playing his own Spirit Reaper. All right, we're having a Spirit Reaper mirror. All right, we are off to a good start, boys. Wow, he's even... We're just both on the Spirit Reapers? Wild. But yeah, this is a good start to the game. We are up multiple cards. We are up on life points. Does he have third Spirit Reaper? Oh, he's playing multiple Reapers? Is he just playing like Goat Control, I guess? Yeah, Spirit Reaper doesn't die there, in case you guys were wondering. I mean, I guess I'll duo him. Yeah, getting rid of Tribe is good. He's got Light and Dark. He might have Thousand Eyes attack into our Breaker. If he does, we're just going to Mirror Force it. I think we just want a Graceful now. I mean, it's tempting to say, like, oh, we should just hold Graceful. But, like, I really want to, like, draw into an out to Thousand Eyes, like Zaborg. Or Ring of Destruction. I mean, we're definitely discarding Reaper. Which do I value more? The Snatch or the Kaiku? Probably the Snatch, right? Yeah, probably Snatch. Snatch is a good card. Oh, this is sick. We just get to chain ring. We actually just get to 2-for-1 him. That is disgusting. Oh yeah, I forgot we played Mind Control. We played double Mind Control in this deck. I love this interaction. And then we just get to save the Snatch, which is pretty cool. Can't get back like his Sork with Premature Burial. I am feeling good about this game. I am feeling good about this game. Well, this Robin Goblin is doing jack shit. I hope this isn't his own spy. That's not nice. It's not nice. I don't even like... Let's see, we've used Graceful. I'm just thinking if I want to set the Robin Goblin or not. Like, we might want to discard it to something, maybe, at some point. I don't know. I think I'll keep it in my hands. I mean, could top deck duo. Drawing DD Assailant is also nice. And then do I want to have Spy attack the monster? Or do I want to turn it to defense? I guess I'll Spy attack the monster. Okay. Do we want to Snatch Reaper? I mean, we could do it now, or we could kind of like see what he does, see what we draw. If we top deck Zaborg, then we get to save the Snatch. There's 2 Zaborgs in a 24-card deck. If we Snatch, we also play your own top deck duo, hitting our Snatch. And he actually is playing Triple Reaper. That's crazy. What are the odds that 2 people playing Triple Reaper run into each other? You know what? I think I am just going to Snatch. Mostly just to play your own top deck duo. Oh, okay, he has Book anyways. Okay, buddy, fair enough. Fair enough. So he'll attack over the Spy. That'll go to 19. And then I'll trade with the Assailant. I think I'm just going to Mirror Force. Oh yeah, and then we top deck Cyborg. What a sicko. So what is he playing? Like Goat Control with 3 Spirit Reapers? What a weird matchup. Well, I tell you, like, Mind Control, we get a lot of value out of Mind Control. He was playing Sork, too. So we can Mind Control Sork and kill it, and we can, like, Mind Control a face-up Reaper and kill it. But obviously, if we Mind Control a set Reaper, then we have to pass it back. We have 1 smashing in the main. We have 1 more in the side. I don't even know what he's playing. Like, what is this guy playing? His deck almost looks like ours, except he's playing like a Sork. I also don't like Mataza the Zapper. I mean, I don't know. Mataza, it's good against Goat's meta, but it's pretty bad against Reaper. Like, if your Mataza attacks into a set Reaper, like, that's just such, like, a feel-bad moment. I also don't really like Zombira. Like, what the hell does Zombira do? Not much. I don't know. I think we'll do this. I think I like Exile better than Zombira in this matchup. Dust Shoot also doesn't seem that great, especially going a second. Like, realize how quickly our opponent ran out of cards, and our opponent's going first. Oh, and our opponent's on Decree. Like, maybe we just side out, like, a bunch of traps just because, like, our opponent's on Decree. Like, Xin Zhen Hu seems like an absolute terrible card. I mean, we definitely want Book. He's playing Goat's meta. What about this? We go down to 7 traps. Even Robin Goblin, I kind of want to side out Robin Goblin, like, a little. But then I don't know, like, what are we putting in? Oh, we definitely want Azura. We definitely want Azura, right? Just to kill goats. I don't know, but, like, it's weird, because Azura, it's, like, it's good against half of his deck and terrible against the other half. Like, it's bad against Zombira. It's bad against Reaper. But, like, it's good against goats specifically. We already have Mataza that, like, kind of deals with goats. What do we... I don't know. Let's try this. I mean, he might change his deck, like, game 2. I'm not really sure. This is a nice hand. Guess we'll... This is a good hand. Our opponent didn't play a monster. And we got, like, you know, Spy plus Sporg. I mean, it looks like he's just going to go Goat's meta, but okay. He goes Goat's meta. It's not really the end of the world. He could also have, like, Creature Swamp, I guess. I will say it's, like, I do wish I had a second Book of Moon in the side for this kind of matchup. Because Book of Moon seems quite good against him. Because he's playing Goat's meta and Decree. That's why I like Book against, like, Goat Control. Because there's a lot of Goat Control decks. They're playing, like, meta and Decree. And Book is, like, the card that's just kind of good against, like, all of those situations. I'm just going to say go. It's tempting to set Torrential here, but I think he could very easily have Heavy. I'm not saying that he has it 100%, but I think there's a reasonable likelihood. Because the only card that he set turn 1 is Chainable, and then he hasn't set anything else. Which, like, to me, that just makes it seem like, oh, okay, it sounds like you have, you know, sounds like you have Heavy. This is, like, such a weird situation. could have, what could he have? You could have like a tribute monster. I think this set monster is not Spirit Reaper, because it would be very weird for him to set Spirit Reaper here. I am very tempted to like mind control the set and just have like the hard read on it being Magician of Faith. We can also like, because we can, I'm saying like we can exile the Thousand Eyes and then mind control the set monster. That's like something that we can do. Or we can just exile the set monster and be safe. Like, would he really set something like a Sangan or a Sinister or a Spirit Reaper here? To me, like, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense unless you're specifically, like, trying to bait mind control. We can also just cross out and pass. I guess the safe play is just, like, cross out. Oh, okay, he was trying to bait the mind control, I guess. Or the exile. Maybe he was stream sniping me. I really didn't think that was Sinister. To me, like, it only makes sense for him to set Sinister there if he's stream sniping. I'm not saying he's stream sniping. He could just be, you know, a player making unusual plays. I mean, he's already playing a very weird deck, so if he's playing a weird deck, maybe he's also going to make weird plays. It is weird, though, because he is behaving in a way where it seems like he's trying to play around all of our cards. Again, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but he is kind of playing around all of our stuff. All right, well, now that we have Solemn, so watch this. I almost guarantee he's going to play Heavy Storm. Guarantee he plays Heavy Storm. Maybe not. So we have to do that there because, like, if he plays heavy, we want to be able to solemn it. What do you side out against aggro on this list? Well, this list, yeah, I'm testing this other deck, and it's my first time playing it, so I'm not 100% sure. Does he just have another Decree? He's just going to go another Decree into heavy? End phase discard. I mean, at a certain point, we can just summon a random monster and just torrential the whole board. But at the same time, it's like, if he's just going to keep discarding, that's like a virtual +1 every turn. Every turn that he just goes end phase discard. I don't know, I might just go summon DD Assailant, activate Torrential. Because, like, DD Assailant doesn't seem that great in this matchup, and then we can kind of do whatever the hell we want after that. All right. Wow, okay. He's like... I swear it's like... Again, I'm not saying he's stream sniping, but a lot of his plays seem suspicious, where he's like setting this Zombira to bait mind control. I mean, he did see mind control in game 1, to be fair. But it's really weird how he's just like expertly played around all of our cards this entire game. Again, I'm just a little suspicious. I'm a little suspicious. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance it's Reaper. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, if he goes Tribute for Zaborg, I might be in trouble here. I don't even... Did we see Spy in game 1? Yeah, we didn't see Spy in game 1, so I wasn't playing around that. Because I was kind of assuming, like, if he's playing, like, Triple Spirit Reaper, he probably isn't playing Spy also. Sucks. Hasn't used cross out. Yeah, I feel like I have to solve this. Really? He has Zaborg and BLS? Or Sork, rather. I mean, I guess that's not really surprising. Again, we saw the Sork game 1. I guess I'll just hit the new card. Oh my god, he just has the perfect counter to every single thing that we play. Yeah, alright, we lose. Yeah, he just like played around every single card that we had for like 10 turns in a row, and then had the perfect counter to every single card that we played like for several turns after that. It is, like I said, it's a little suspicious. I'm not saying he's stream sniping. I'm just saying that, you know, it would be consistent with the fact that he could be. You get what I'm saying? So we saw Spy, we saw Zaborg. Why just do this? Like, go first, have Josh shoot. Seems good. Dust Tornado isn't bad either. I think I'm going to do this. Like, Dust Tornado is a little more reasonable going first. Because, like, if we're going first, we can set the Dust Tornado before he sets the Decree. I probably want to, like, thin out my deck a little. I'm not even sure what to get, if I'm being honest. I guess we'll just get, like, Warrior Lady. Could be, like, kind of a good mind game, too. Like, we're gonna set a monster, and then maybe he'll think it's Warrior Lady. Nope, he has the perfect play again. Again, I am a little suspicious. I mean, again, like, you know, he could just be lucky and have Zombira here. I mean, that is a real thing. Got rid of Faith. I'm just thinking, I mean, we can definitely, like, just tribute for Zaborg here, but I'm not really in love with it. Yeah, I think I'll just do this. What I want to do is have him, like, set another monster, go tribute Spy for Zaborg, and then try to attack over the Zombira. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, he just has, like, the perfect counter to our play, like, every single turn. Alright, if we run into Mirror Force, we run into Mirror Force. I can live with it. Oh, he acts like he's thinking. Like, if you have, like, a ring for a Warrior Lady, just play it. Yeah, I mean... I don't understand why he's, like, slow rolling us like this. Again, I would say, like, there is more than a 50% chance that he's stream sniping. Because he checked, like, our grave. Like, it seems like he just knows we have BLS, right? And again, it's not one thing. Because there was the last match where someone said, oh, I think he's stream sniping. And then I made the argument for why he wasn't. This game, though, or this match, rather... He has played around every single, like, one of our cards for several turns in a row. That, to me, you know, that's the difference. So he has a Tsukiyomi in hand, and then 3 cards that we don't know what they are. It's quite possible this BLS will just carry us to victory, though. Oh, he has Crossout. Yeah, okay. Alright, he's trying to make us respect Torrential. Do we want to respect the Torrential? All right, I think I am gonna respect the torrential. Okay. I mean, that was a good play on the part. The Tsukiyomi set a back row. Unfortunately, we do not have game. But we are in a very good position. We could attack for... With Mataza, we could actually attack for 56. Put him at 900. But I don't think I want to put him at 900. Yeah, this is just a dead spy. But I think we still set it. I think we just set the spy with nothing to search. Okay, fine. Well, we're gonna respect the torrential now. Alright, again, let's think what's the worst could happen. Yeah, I think we're fine. We're at 47. I definitely think we're gonna get rid of this support. Probably just a Borg Minecon. So, we would agree, if he had torrential set, and he's not stream sniping, he would use it, right? Am I just being paranoid here? Because against a normal opponent, I think we would just want to summon Breaker. But because I think he's stream sniping, I think he could still have torrential set. That's like... That's what's so crazy. I mean, what we could even do, if we really have the read on him not having torrential, we could even search up Mataza with Rhoda and then just try to attack for game. But he could still have mirror, so I don't think we want to do that. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think I should do? I think there is a reasonable chance he's stream sniping, which could mean that he's sandbagging torrential. Like, that is an actual real thing that could happen. Alright. Okay. He did not have torrential. It is what it is. However, we have Dust into set call, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a delay in the chat, so you're just saying, like, yeah, just summon the Breaker, go for it. Yeah, he just has perfect answer to the spy again. And then, see, now he won't set a back row because he wants to play around Dust Tornado because he's stream sniping and knows we have call in our hand. Yeah, I am, like... I want to watch this match after it's over, but it's like... I am pretty freaking confident that he's stream sniping. And again, I can't prove it. I've just noticed that he's played around every single card that we've had, like every single turn, for like 20 turns in a row. Like, he's never played into a single thing that we've had in our hand even once. Which to me, it's like, it's all about probabilities. I cannot say with 100% certainty he's stream sniping, but every single turn that he plays around every single card in our hand, the probability goes up. right? So there it's like, oh, I summon Zombira because I know it's spy. You know, like, again, I'm not saying I know for a fact. I'm just saying it's awfully suspicious. What targets do I even have, like, legally? I mean, it could just be his own spy, right? It could just be his own spy. Okay, or it could be that. I was considering getting like something that could attack over, you know, getting like a DD assailant, but he hadn't used any spies, which made me think like, okay, it could very easily be spy. Oh, he's also used heavy. I should probably just be setting the call. I mean, he's just already used everything at this point. And now that I've set call, now he'll set like a spell or trap. Oh, any monster would have been game. Any monster would have been game there. Okay, other than like Sinister Serpent. Alright, so what's the worst thing that could happen? Again, we don't have to play around heavy. He could have Snatch. I don't know. I think if we just snatch BLS, call our own BLS, attack him for 6k, set MST, is there like anything he can have? Oh, he could have Breaker for our own snatch. And that's it, I think. Yeah, he could top deck Breaker. He could top deck Breaker, and that's like the only thing. If we go smash his BLS, call our own BLS attack. Yeah, there's still not a ton of stuff he could have. Well, he can't really have Breaker in his hand, or he would have summoned it. So there's a 1 in 26 chance he top decks Breaker. Yeah, I think we just, you know, in the 25 out of 26 scenarios where he doesn't top Breaker, we win. Yeah, I think I'll take a 25 out of 26 chance. I think I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with saying, okay, 1 in 26 times we lose, or it might not win, not even lose, just might not win. Okay, so yeah, we just dust this. Okay, and then we MST in the next game. Alright. I want to watch this match. I want to try to figure out if he was stream sniping. And then after that, I'm going to be done for today. So if you have any questions you want to ask about, you know, GOAT format or whatever the hell else, go ahead, get your questions in the chat. Again, I would say, oh man, if I had to assign like a probability of him stream sniping, I would say I think there is like maybe a 60% chance he was sniping and like a 40% chance he wasn't. Because it just seemed like game 1 was over so quickly that you couldn't tell, right? Like that's just how it is. But game 2 and 3, he played around every single card that we had every single turn for like 50 turns in a row. I will play Library FTK like on a later stream, but I think I'm gonna call this one a day. Why is DuelingBook being like this? But again, normally you can deduce from the replay if they were sniping or not. The guy that we played before or whatever, I knew he wasn't sniping because he went Mystic Swordsman level 2 into our set Sangan, and someone who knows that we have a set Sangan would never do that. Oh, come on. Why do you gotta be like this? Yeah, he probably wasn't. Oh, sorry. There's a Strike Ninja return deck that people play. I think earlier in chat you asked about Strike Ninja. So yeah, like go to wherever, format library or something, and like look up Strike Ninja. Look up like Strike Ninja Return. There is like an actual like. You would argue it's like, I don't know, tier 2, tier 1.5. Like, it's definitely a real deck. Like, it's not like some meme deck or a tier 3 deck. It's a real deck. Alright, so we set Reaper and pass. I mean, so far it doesn't look like he's sniping, because he's kind of just playing into everything we have. Yeah, like he just... To be fair, we top-decked the breaker, so he can't play around that, even if he's sniping. But, like, we didn't have heavy. So if he knew that we didn't have heavy, he would probably set book. And then, like, if he knew we had cross-out, he might just summon this Reaper instead of setting it. So, I think, like, the best argument for him not stream sniping is game 1. But it could also be possible that game 1 he wasn't stream sniping, and then like maybe in the middle of game 2 he had someone that says, oh, this guy streams. But so far, like, game 1 is definitely the best argument for him not stream sniping. And then he also plays into our ring, which again, why would he not chain second book? Why would he not chain second book? Okay, forget the stream sniping. So what I actually should have done, I could have played around second book, because I could have waited for him to flip up the Thousand Eyes, activate the effect, and then used ring on it. And by doing that, I would have played around second book. But there's so few people that play multiple Book-a-Moons that I didn't even think of that. But here he actually could have changed second book, saved his guy from ring, flipped it up, and then taken our guy. So that's just a misplay on his part. And you could argue a misplay on our part too for not playing around second book. This also does 300 damage. It's either we can deal 300 or play around second book. I think you could make the argument that playing around second book is more important. Oh, but maybe he wanted to do it this way. Again, if he's sniping us, maybe he thinks, well, I won't use second book because I want to have Sork plus book to play around the snatch steal that I know about in my opponent's hands. Of course, we top deck mind control. attack, attack. Yeah, I mean, this game is over very quickly, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. And yeah, I will say, like, the Robin Goblin did nothing. I mean, I think we cited it out. We cited it out for game 2. Robin Goblin is cute, though. It might not be like an amazing card, but it's not the worst card in the world. And then I had this debate on stream of whether I should snatch now or snatch later, and there are like some pros and cons to both. Like, you kind of play around different things by snatching now versus snatching later. But I decided to snatch now just in case my opponent top decks duo. That was my reasoning. But he has book for the snatch anyways. This guy plays like a lot of Zombiras. Like, post side he had 3 Zombiras. Like, maybe we should have just sided out spies. And then we top deck something to kill him, right? Yeah, we just Zaborg and attack for game. Okay, fair enough. Game 2, though, game 2 is where I start to get suspicious. Based on game 1, I would say, like, okay, he wasn't stream sniping. But then, okay, he sets goats. It's funny, I thought he had, like, heavy the whole game, and then he just never played it. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't stream sniping. Maybe he wasn't. Because now seeing it from his perspective, I'm kind of like, this all seems pretty reasonable. It could have just been, like, here's the thing. It could have just been that, like, yes, he made the perfect play every turn, but maybe he just only had one option every turn. Right? Like, if he has 5 different options every turn, and he just always plays around our whole hand, that looks suspicious. But, like, so far, this is entirely normal. So, yeah, so far, I'm totally on board with him not stream sniping. And then he takes our guy. This is a pretty... No, I guess this play makes sense, too. So the reason why this play makes sense, at the time this happened, I thought there's no way this play makes sense unless he's, like, trying to bait mind control. But he has Zaborg in his hand, so what he can do is he can, like, tribute Sinister versus Borg and, like, pop a monster or something. Or he can even pop his own monster if he wants. So again, so far I'm on board with this. The only thing that's weird is that he's not setting another back row. I thought, like, he was doing this because he had heavy in his hand, but he actually just doesn't have heavy. So what I would do is I would set book or ring to protect the Selznai's. I don't know, maybe he's just trying to get us to think that he has heavy. Yeah, and I decided to cross out there. There's a lot of different plays you could do there. I was considering going, like, exiled pop the Thousand-Eyes, mind control the set, hope it's, like, Magician of Faith. But I wasn't confident enough that it was Faith to do that play. I thought it was, like, most likely Faith, but it was, like, a low most likely. I thought there was, like, okay, maybe 60% chance this is Faith or something. And so it wasn't high confidence enough for me to do that. And yeah, so here I decide, okay, if he has heavy, I can just solemn the heavy. So I was, like, kind of cool with that play. So yeah, here, like, my read this whole time has just been he has heavy. Here I decide to MST the decree right away because of the fact that now if he has heavy, I can't solemn. I mean, maybe I'm just fine with that. Maybe we should just... You could kind of make the argument either way. So if we allow this decree to just resolve, and then he heavies, the heavy is effectively a 2 for 3. It's a +1. But then it also gets rid of this, and then allows Thousand Eyes to take another monster. So I don't know. I just kind of thought he had heavy, if I'm being totally honest, but he doesn't. And now he sets book, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, and then I just decided to say go. I'm like, still kind of playing around everything. To be fair, it's like, from our opponent's perspective at this point, it should be kind of obvious that we have Torrential. So, like, I don't blame him for playing around Torrential here, because we just haven't summoned any monsters for, like, 5 turns in a row. Yeah, and setting the Zombira is also really weird. I don't understand why he did this. So honestly, like, if someone knows the logic, let me know. But, like, I get that he doesn't want to discard, right? He doesn't want to discard a card in his hand. But given that he doesn't have heavy, why not just set, like, any of these cards? Like, Mirror or Ring. Like, why not just set Ring here? That's what I don't understand. To me, this is the part where I start to get suspicious about him stream sniping, because he's like, why sit Zombira unless you're trying to bait out Mind Control? Now, again, he saw Mind Control in game 1, so it's like, you know, and Exiled Force is another one he could bait out. Still, it's like, I don't, to me, there's not enough evidence to think that he's sniping it. It could just be like a weird play. He could be baiting out like second crossout. He can be baiting out Exiled. He could be baiting out Mind Control. He can be baiting out whatever the hell. Here I just decided to do basically like 2 for 2. My Torrential and your Assailant, Fierce Thousand Eyes, and set. We're like up, what, like 2 cards now? So I feel like, okay, we're probably going to win because we're just up 2 cards and I just want to like start pressuring him. We end up losing this game, for those who weren't here. And here, it's like at this point, I've now started to get suspicious about him stream sniping. So I've kind of gotten in my own head and thought, well, I'm not going to Mind Control because I think that he knows I have Mind Control. Like, he's kind of baited out Mind Control several turns in a row. But here would have been a great opportunity to Mind Control. Because if we just Mind Con to the Spy and just gotten our own Spy, and then, I don't know, like summoned Kaiku or something, that would have been really, really nice for us. Who knows? Maybe I should have just done that. I mean, this is where you can start getting into the argument of, hey, Alan, you've gotten in your own head, and now you're misplaying because of it. Yeah, and then he has Zaborg. We didn't see Zaborg like game 1, I think. Yeah, we didn't see it game 1, but Zaborg's a popular card in GOAT format. And yeah, this is where the game starts to really fall apart. Because I kind of have to solve him, because I just feel like, okay, if I don't, then what's our, you know, how are we going to win? And then he goes Sork, get rid of our guy. And then now we're taking a lot of damage. Yeah, and then now it's like we just... What I don't understand is why not just like ring right away? I don't know. Or book right away. I don't know. I guess he figures if we hit the book, he can chain book on his own guy. Yeah, this just makes sense. Then he rings our guy. Then there's nothing we can do. Because we're just dead to the Spy, right? We can Mind Con the Sork and banish itself. Then we're just dead to the Spy. Yeah, I mean, so far this game is plausible. This game is definitely plausible. All of those moves, like, I'm not saying they make sense necessarily, but there's some logic to all of them. In this game, we just have, like, a really good hand. And I'm just doing this because we have double Rhoda and I want to thin out my deck. Yeah, and here again, it's like I was a little suspicious about this, but here he had no other play, right? Like, he did a play that happened to counter our set Spy, but he literally had 0 other options. So again, it's like, not evidence that he's stream sniping, because he had no other options. Yeah, we hit the meta. Hitting the meta was pretty good off the duo. And then what did I do here? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I just decided like, well, I'll just sit here on my spy. And then he top decks a Tsukiyomi, which is such a good top deck for him. Like one of the best top decks you could ask for. Yeah, and then he attacks. Then, you know, it's an even game. And then yeah, I just decided to, I didn't know that his set was Ring. Ring is, again, it's like, it happens to be a really great counter to what we have. But at the same time, he rings our guy. And then, yeah, it's like, he's thinking for a while. He checks his grave, checks my grave. Yeah, he kind of think. Okay, I'll ring your warrior lady. To me, it seemed like, I don't know. I mean, it seems like, does he know that we have BLS? But again, I think this is reasonable. I mean, using ring on the warrior lady definitely makes sense. The only other option here is you could just let the warrior lady go through and then ring the Reaper. I don't know. If he knew that we had BLS, he probably would have just ringed the Reaper, or ringed... Yeah, if he knew we had BLS, I think the better play would have been to ring the Reaper. So given that he ringed the warrior lady, it seems like he wasn't stream sniping. Yeah, I've flipped my position. After seeing everything from his perspective, I now think that he was not stream sniping. But we'll play out the rest of the game anyway. And this is kind of cool here, this sort of Tsukiyomi Saku play. And here I just decide to respect the torrential. Which I think is the correct play. Because if we just get both our guys torrential, we don't have a lot left after that. Here I flip up BLS because we have Bookamoon, so we can flip it down if we want to anyways. If he has like Snatch. And now he's like kind of screwed. Yeah, and we banish because like we saw triple Reaper game 1, so we don't want to attack into a set Reaper. And then I set Spy because why the hell not? And then he heavies for some reason. Oh, because he wants to set his Saku, that's why. Yeah, and then here we graceful just to see what we draw into that might change everything. And then, what does he have set again? Oh, he has another Saku set. So yeah, we just run into this Saku. Yeah, and then I do this. I'm getting cute. I should have just set call. Again, I'm just misplaying here. Because Heavy's already gone. Heavy's already gone. If we just set call, he would have won like 3 turns earlier. And here he has like no other options again. I mean, he can... Here, he can summon Zombira or set Faith. And to me, it's like... Again, if he doesn't know what we have, I think setting Faith would be better. Because, like, such a large percentage of the time, he's just going to run into a Reaper here. Or, like, run into our own Faith or something. I don't know. Again, this happens to be the better play because we just have the third Spy, which is the only thing this can really attack over. But I think he just got lucky in the sense that he decided that was the play that he wanted to make, and it happened to be the best play. And yeah, I should just be setting call here. Yeah, and he hasn't... I originally thought like, oh, he's just playing around our Dust Tornado because he knows that we have it. And it's like, no, he just doesn't have any spells or traps. You know, he just can't really do a whole lot. Here, I don't understand. Why would you not set Why would you not set Faith? I'm actually very confused about this, and this has nothing to do with tinfoil hat theories. Why would you not set Faith here? Why would you set Tsukiyomi? Because ironically enough, I was thinking about what to Rhoda for. And I was considering getting like DD Assailant to attack a potential set Tsukiyomi. But I figure yeah, but if it's a Faith, I would rather just get exiled. Or if it's a spy, I'd rather get exiled, right? Because we haven't seen the spies yet. So I grabbed the exiled, hit the Tsukiyomi. Again, I am curious. Maybe everyone in chat's just left by now. You guys are getting tired. But I'm curious why you think he would not set Faith here. What the reason would be. Whether he's stream sniping or not. Why would you not set Faith? Because he's got 2 decent spells in his grave. It's not like he needs the Dark for BLS. He already has a Dark. I mean, maybe he is playing around mind control for some reason. That's the only reason I could think of to set Tsukiyomi instead of Faith, is if he's playing around Mindcon. But we already have 1 Mindcon in grave. Yeah, and here I decided to take the hit, because if he has Ring, we can end phase dust the Ring. And then I just decided to attack for a bunch of damage. In the universe here where he top decks Breaker, I wonder if we win, because we're at 17. He would top Breaker, break the Snatch, take back his BLS. He would snatch our BLS. Okay, then we'd dust it. He'd use his BLS's effect to banish ours. Attack for 16 with Breaker, we'd go to 100. Yeah, and then we'd probably lose, right? Then we'd probably just lose. And then we dust, and then he concedes. Yeah, it was an interesting game. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could be playing around Crossout. But we had a bunch of opportunities to use Crossout earlier, and then we didn't, right? I don't know. Yeah, I'd say he probably was not stream sniping. I still think it's possible that he was, but I think probably not. Because he did make some plays that wouldn't have made sense if he was sniping. In particular, the play where he rings our Warrior Lady instead of our Reaper. That, to me, is the biggest evidence that he was probably not stream sniping. Because if he was, he would have let the Warrior Lady banish itself, and then he would have ringed the Reaper. So, yeah, I've taken off my tinfoil hat, and I've decided that he was probably not stream sniping. All right, well, if you guys have any remaining questions, let me know. I actually think this deck is really cool. I think next time I stream, I think I'm going to play this deck, because I think it's a really cool deck. And we only got to play 1 match with it today. I mean, the whatchamacallit, the Ghostrider deck was cool, too. I definitely think the Ghostrider deck is good. I think, though, it's... what do I want to say? The matchup variance is a bit too much for me. I feel like it does really well versus some decks and then not so well versus others. We did happen to beat the Burn player, but only because his Burn list was very bad. I think this deck would have a very hard time against, a competent Burn player. And even Warriors, it's they're pros and cons. It's pros in the warrior matchup is that we're not playing any dust shirts, which helps us against warriors. Cons are we're not playing mirror torrential, which hurts us against warriors. Now, some warrior players might play around mirror torrential anyways, but I actually think this list is pretty good. Like, if you want to play like Chaos Turbo, if you're one of those people where you're like, oh, I must play Chaos Sorcerer in my deck, I refuse to play anything else, I think this is a good deck. I think this is like a good build. That's just my opinion. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have any remaining questions about either of the two decks or anything else, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a stream in, I don't know, the next 30 seconds or so. And then yeah, like I said, the other deck, the Reaper deck, I think is really cool. I think it's really innovative. To be honest, it's like if you guys happen to know like the person who made this deck and he wants to like come on and do like a profile interview type thing with me, I would be down to do that because I think this deck is really cool. Not perfect, but I think it's really cool. The thing that was kind of throwing me off in that last match was, I don't know, I feel like he changed his deck a lot between siding. Like, one game he had 3 Reapers, and then the other game he had 3 Spies, and the other game he had like 3 Zombiras. So I kind of didn't really know what to play around a lot of the time. But against like a more normal deck, where they're just kind of always playing the same cards, I feel like this deck would do better. And other than like, I don't know, some of these warriors I'm not sure about. Like, I like Blade Knight and Warrior Lady, but the other 3, I don't know. Other than that, though, really sick deck. So yeah, looks like no more chatters, no more questions. So I'm gonna call it a day. Thanks for watching, guys. I will be streaming a lot more often now. Now that I've sort of moved into the new house, I've got a really great internet connection. So yeah, there are